I've never betrayed anyone in my entire life.
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Nico, and I'm joined by Alice.
Men are so involved in their fighting, they think of women as mere tools, sometimes even not knowing anything other than to disgrace them.
So true, bestie. Brian?
This is podcasting. Gender is irrelevant.
And Jackson from the Great Gundam Project.
It's Gundam time!
Yeah!
This time around, I'm crawling into your cockpit to trauma dump to you about the events of my life, which now includes having watched Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, a new translation. Let's launch into it. Well, right at the top, let's introduce our guest, Jackson Tyler of
Hello.
Abnormal Mapping and the Great Gundam Project. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, that's me. I was invited to come along and talk about some Gundam, which I like to do, so I absolutely said yes. And yeah, rewatch these movies. They're pretty good. They're like weirdly, I always heard about them as being controversial, and then when we watched them recently, like for the first time, I'm just surprised that they're actually off the compilation movies. These are some of the better ones in Gundam because a lot of the compilation movies are pretty bad. But these have enough extra animation things like holding the structure together that they mostly work. I had a great time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad for you. I was lost, but that's fine. We'll get there. But yeah, Jackson can be found by the username HeadFallsOff at headfallsoff.com on Blue Sky and the website. Yeah, I mean, obviously, most of our listeners are going to know you from the Great Gundam Project, but you are part of the Abnormal Mapping Podcast Network, which mostly seems to be you and M and like a handful of other people that you drag in to make approximately 1 million podcasts.
Well, yeah, I mean, so Abnormal Mapping was just me and M's a podcast that we started ages ago. And then as you do when you do these kind of things, you meet other people in the same spheres and you orbit each other and then you both start different projects. And so you and your friends in various configurations keep starting projects for a decade. And then that's basically how it's gone for us. It's worked pretty well so far. But somehow podcasting about Gundam was the thing that made it like successful. I don't know why.
No one can know.
No one can know. Whenever anyone's like, "Oh, what's the secret to getting, making anything successful online?" The answer is nothing. It's total luck at all times. I have no.
It's been funny for us because like when we started our project with OSG, we were very much kind of focused on really not covering Gundam because a lot of the podcasts were covering Gundam. And if we did cover Gundam, it was the most random stuff possible. Like we covered Gundam Evolution before it went offline. Like we always attacked it at like a weird angle. This year's project is Alice really subjecting me and our listenership to a real drive-by compared to the work that you do on the Great Gundam Project and a lot of podcasts do. A real quick drive-by of the Gundam franchise. And it's been really fun and rewarding. But yeah, we have seen like an influx of people and it's like, oh, Gundam. Okay.
Yeah, it's very popular.
Real day trip to the colony drop, you know?
All right, Alice, I think we have an
Quick.
important question that you want to ask Jackson right up at the top that we ask every guest.
Feel free. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Usually you ask,
Oh, yeah.
what's your favorite?
What's your favorite mech? We gotta
It doesn't
know.
have to be a Gundam.
Doesn't
but
have to be a Gundam, just like, what's the mech where you're like, and not series, like specific robot boy or girl or they or crystal What's your favorite mech?
The four genders.
I mean, my favorite mech is it's probably the Turn X. It's definitely something from Turn A. Because just Turn A is the most beautiful show ever. It's just cheating how good Turn A is. So I guess I'll go Turn X. But you know, we got non-Gundams in there as well. We got the Metal Gear Ray. I'm a Ray person.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yep, Brian is also a Ray over Rex.
Where's the Shagohod and the Philanthropist in that ranking, real quick, Jackson?
But both below the Rex and Ray. Shagohod's okay.
What about whatever
I really
Senator
like
Armstrong had going on? Whatever that thing was.
I don't remember. I just remember that it had like 15 knives because you've got to parry all of them.
15 Knives Johnson.
All right, I think we'll go ahead and hop into introducing these films.
Now, a fun fact for the listeners is because the 1 year pod is kind of a thing I'm inflicting on Nico. All of our notes for today have been written by me, and Nico, I assume, because Nico is not the type to read through this beforehand, is seeing this for the first time.
I have to stand witness as an objective third party in this matter. Before the call started, Nico was last minute reading and correcting things in this document. So
There were a few typos. It's fine.
I'm very good at that.
I did read through it. Also, I already had a joke loaded about this. You could say I'm the Minerva Zabi of this podcast. I'm sitting in the big chair, but I don't think that I'm really making the decisions here.
what side, left or right, what side of the chair are you primarily inhabiting?
Well, obviously the left due to my politics. Oh my god. Yeah, the way I just yelled, "Oh my god, it's baby Hitler" when I saw her.
Stop!
Because that's, you people have done this
You
to
haven't
me.
seen
Anyway.
Unicorn. You don't know her yet.
You made me watch Endless Waltz with no reference, so...
No,
All right.
that's totally fine.
Yeah, you know that's
It's
like a
legally
different
distinct.
part of Gundam, right?
Man, Endless Waltz is so beautifully stupid.
It's so... I saw the, update. I did see it in the theater for the 4K re-release. Guys, I think the only way Endless Waltz could be better than Endless Waltz, which is just hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, is to see it in a full-ass theater. That sound design rips.
Oh, nice.
Oh, damn, I'm
Unfortunately-
jealous.
Okay, I know we're here to talk about Gundam, but I need to talk about this, which is they added a film before it, which was the Iron-Blooded
Yeah.
Orphans, Ugahar battle thing, whatever. What I need you to know is this is a compilation film of animated cutscenes from a mobile game. And they did not add anything but small interstitials of one of the characters making tea and being like, that reminds me of the time when cuts to other cinematics.
I went to the cinema to watch, like, the Kingdom Hearts compilation movies. Like, what is going on here?
God damn
And
it.
it's incomplete because the game's still going. I don't know what we're doing. That's all.
Yeah.
And it had cool concepts, but also, yeah, okay, that's it. I couldn't tell people, hey, go see Gundam Endless Waltz in theater for a hell yeah time, because I didn't want anyone to have to sit through that. So that's why it didn't do good numbers, okay?
Alice personally sabotaged it. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, as far as Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, I get it out of order because I'm a baby. A new translation. So, talking about the original series, produced in 1985 by Sunrise, 50 episodes for the original series. The 3 movies have a total runtime of 4 hours and 51 minutes. Compared to the almost 7-hour runtime of the Mobile Suit Gundam compilation movies. That's, you know, a little compacted. So obviously this is part of the Gundam franchise. This was the second anime series, the second in the Universal Century. Between the original series and now, a manga adaptation was made of the original series with 2 volumes. This was, of course, created and directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino, with character design once again by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. Mechanical design was split between 3 people. Kunio Okawara from the original series, Mamoru Nagano, who worked with Tomino on Heavy Metal L. Gaim, and went on to make 5-star stories, and Kazumi Fujita, who won a competition between the three to design the Zeta. I don't know what it was. You may have more information on this. I hope it was rock, paper, scissors. Yes, Brian, was it rock, paper, scissors?
Sorry, I don't have more information on that specifically. I did just want to shout out Nagano also worked on Brain Powered, which we will have released an episode on the first part of by now.
Yep, my gender poisoning. Fujita has also done small animation work in the industry since. The opening and ending music was done by American pop singer / songwriter Neil Sedaka.
Look at an image of this guy. Hell yeah, brother. The show
I don't know
era
why you don't
is
just
here.
do Bad Blood as the song. Just do that one.
Oh, so work on this started in February 1984, with it to be aired in the March of 1985. In the anime industry, this is a pretty long lead time. The intricate design and transformations of the eponymous Zeta Gundam caused production issues, which I don't fucking doubt. This caused its introduction in the series to be delayed, and is why the show starts with the Mark II, as a Gundam series needs to have a Gundam in every episode by law.
Yeah, this is one of those things where like the lean into Gunpla meant that this had to be a functional kit, right?
Yeah,
And transforming Gunpla kits were not really a thing yet.
I would kind of argue there's still not really a thing now. No, I'm kidding. I recently built the Ashmar, and technically, I can't dispute the fact that technically it could transform. However, as a Gunpla kit, I was so afraid I was going to break it when I needed to push things a certain way that I just gave up and left it in man form. I was like, oh no, I'm very scared to break this. The compilation film's A New Translation was made for Gundam's 25th anniversary in 2005. Tomino took the chance to change and fix a lot of things. There was also substantial new animation. That may be the first thing you notice about these films. 33% of the first film, 70% of the second film, and 80% of the third film were new animation. Notably, the voice cast was able to return for the new recording for the most part, including the voice actress for Salem Mass, Yo Inoue, who had passed away, but recordings of her voice were used for the cameo. Many plot points from the series were adjusted or even outright cut. The films were a commercial success and well received at the time of release. What did y'all know about Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam before we watch this? We'll start with Alice.
I watched the first Gundam, and then I was like, what comes next? And then I watched Zeta. I feel like I've come back to Zeta a few times. It's good background noise. This and Double Zeta sit in the same place of my mind, which is popcorn. I just put it on, and I'm just like, this is pretty good still. I enjoy this, you know? It's just nice to have a lot of.
When did you watch it for the first time? Because you watched Gundam pretty young.
I was 9 at the time. I was 9. This was pre 9/11.
Everyone make sure to situate your reaction to Mobile Suit. Yeah.
But I'm also forever 17. Don't look at the timeline of my life.
Bri, what was your Zeta background?
I watched the original show like all the way through last year, actually. So it's very fresh in my mind. I have recency bias about it. It's like, this is Gundam to me in a way that the first Gundam wasn't, just because I hadn't seen it when I watched Zeta Gundam, which you might say is a weird thing to do, and you're probably right, but it happened, so whatever. I liked Zeta Gundam. It has its ups and downs for sure, and I think that is not something the movies really escape. But yeah, I like Alice said, like I liked it, and I thought it was fine.
Okay. Jackson, obviously, y'all have covered Zeta Gundam already on the Great Gundam Project, but in general, like, either your background the first time you encountered it, you know, for the show, or however, like, what was your vibe around Zeta Gundam when you encountered it?
Oh, well, this one's a little personal, because my vibe around Zeta was absolutely atrocious. It was terrible. It was a very awkward. I think it's like one of the most awkward viewing experiences I've ever had of a show, just because Zeta is a very a show that is beloved, and our audience had a lot of opinions about it, and I didn't really know where I sat on, like, because it was very overwhelming, and I hadn't had a degree in watching Tomino bullshit like I do now. The first time I watched it. And so I like it, but my main memory was just feeling very stressed that everyone was going to yell at me every week on the podcast. I would not recommend going back and listening to my takes about Zeta back then as being anything informative. They're definitely me being put through the hyperbolic time chamber, I guess. And so I feel like I'm kind of due of a rewatch of the actual of the 50 episode show now that I can just watch it and be calm about it. It's been fun revisiting it through the movies because they're both very different, but also they do have the same Zeta energy where everything is popping off every 5 seconds. It just doesn't stop for anything. I feel pretty good about Zeta these days.
So just talking real quick about your PhD in Tomino, I want your just one sentence take on brain powered real quick.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's such a cruel thing to ask. Also, knowing we have also not seen the second half of Brain Power.
Bleep this entire thing. It's just for me.
I am the decider of us three. I decide.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, you don't even know about. Has a character called Baron Maximilian showed up yet?
No.
I need to know. Oh my god, I'm so.
Yeah, then you basically know nothing. Yeah, Brain Power's incredible.
That motherfucker has dragging cards, that's all I'm saying.
It's absolute nonsense, but it's a real reward for... I can't believe some of you are going in the deep end here, because if you're watching Brain Power as like one of your first Domino shows, then that's like crazy.
It's funny because I basically picked it because it was 26 episodes and not 50, so we are experiencing the whiplash of that in real time.
I think it's the densest Domino show. Like the amount of stuff that happened in episode 1.
My notes, 1 page per episode, and I'm just like,
I was pausing. I was pausing and I was screaming.
I was Googling words, trying to get the themes down.
I opened 8 tabs on feminism in Japan and psychoanalysis in Japan. I opened some academic articles to just read later. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Tomino shows come with a reading list, you know?
Well, I was going to say, my experience with Zeta...
Did you know this was different than Double Zeta?
No, I didn't know Double Zeta existed. I assumed they just showed the show backwards and forwards at the same time, like the Beatles records.
Oh my god.
No, so this is a funny situation where, like, when we covered Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, I realized, like, every GIF I had ever seen from Metal Gear was from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. It turns out, like, 90% of the GIFs that I have seen from Gundam are from Zeta. Like, including things that were cut, unfortunately, because I was trying to pull a GIF of Char in Zeta, and it pulled the one where his sunglasses are, like, being put on his face, and I was so upset that wasn't in the films. Anyway. But yeah, it was really funny. It's like, I've seen so much of this, but I really didn't have a context for it. And it was such an interesting viewing experience, because I'll say, like, so my last real Gundam experience was the Mobile Suit Gundam compilation films we just covered. Those films seem to me to kind of pull the wheat from the chaff, in the sense of the story seemed to flow pretty naturally, but the fighting was minimal. And so, like, from my understanding of the original series, you know, every episode had a certain amount of fighting, a certain amount of things on screen. Of course, a lot of characterization that was lost in the films, but they all seemed to pretty much flow. And, like, Brian, you had that incredible experience of being like, oh, I get Mobile Suit Gundam now because I watched this film and the story kind of assembled in this concise way. These movies had me lost at many points, but it had the effect of making me kind of want to go watch Zeta in full, because I was like, a lot of this is interesting and I don't have the context and I wish I did, which is an interesting effect. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on it from that perspective. I was 32 years old when I watched Zeta.
Did you think it was weird that they skipped straight to Z in the alphabet? Like, where were Gundam A through X? Did that ever come up?
You're the worst. So what happened in these movies? I just have to remind you.
Okay.
So what happened in these movies? I'm gonna give us a brief synopsis here, which of course is based on the movies, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
8 years after the 1 Year War, the Regular Resistance Group, the Anti-Earth Union Group, aka the AEUG, pronounced AUG. How many vowels can we get in an acronym? Tried to dismantle the fascistic group of the Titans, an elite unit of the Earth Federation. The Titans have grown more powerful than the Federation itself and threaten to assert Earth's domination of the Space Noids with unending violence. God, Space Noids. Y'all, I was completely correct last episode. It became a slur.
What? The Titans would never treat Space Noids like slurs.
Caught up in this escalating conflict is Camille Bidan, a child mobile suit sporting prodigy whose mistreatment by the Titans causes him to seize a Gundam Mark II. Over the course of the war, Camille meets a cast of new types, cyber new types, Jupiter returnees, Neo-Zeons, Titans, and even Amuro Ray. That's right, the whole white-based crew is back, yup. Even the kids. With their war crimes brought to light, the Titans joined forces with Neo-Zeon to fight the Federation and AEUG. This leads to another Earth-Sphere war where a bunch of people in mobile suits die, teasing at the continuation in Double Zeta. And don't worry, we'll talk about the different Camille endings. And with that, let's go to the break. Hey there, listeners. I'm so glad you could make this time to be with me. I know it's the common wisdom, but it doesn't have to be a long week to pass the yaoi. I just wanted to fill you in on a few things. First of all, any images we discuss and content warnings as applicable for each episode are available on its webpage, which is always going to be linked in the episode description. You wondering why I sound like this instead of sounding like I'm podcasting from inside a subway station full of dogs? It's all thanks to listeners like you. We've had some generous one-time donations and the support of some steadfast monthly contributors to our Ko-fi that allowed me to offset the cost of a new mic and completely cover the materials I needed to run Cat6 cable to the pod computer, including a new drill bit. And I love new drill bits. If you've extracted a spare, blood-soaked bill from the cannibalistic parasite of capitalism recently, consider throwing it our way at ko-fi.com/OSGPOD. You may even get to be part of an elaborate laundering scheme where we put that money right back into the community, as we did when we commissioned music for our recent Ghost in the Shell actual play. We've got a lot going on outside the show, which I'll just touch on briefly here. Brian and Alice are streaming on Twitch every minute God allows. The schedule can be variable, so check out our socials for the latest info. The page for our locked-in Mech Game Jam is officially up on itch.io, so take a look at that to get ideas flowing. It'll run all of July, but you don't have to wait until July 1st to get started. Lastly, our Discord community has started up regular Turn A Gundam watch parties inspired by the 1 Year pod. Get in on that by joining the Discord via the link in the show notes. That's all for now, but hey, call me. All right, welcome back from the break. Let's start this recap and discussion. I'm really feeling like Minerva Zombie in this place. I'm like looking at Alice like, am I good to start?
No, we all have to give our overall thoughts before we dissect this beast, which is, wow, this is different than the show, right, guys?
Kind of.
I think it made me appreciate the show so much more.
Yeah, I'm still kind of assembling my thoughts on it, really. But like, I will say, I like Nico. I watched the show very recently, and also like Nico, I had a little bit of logistical difficulty sometimes. Like I kind of just got a little bit lost in all the things that were going on. But like ultimately the things I missed didn't end up mattering for like I get it, you know what I mean? I think the first movie's a little bit rough. The second movie's where it peaks for me, and then the third movie's really good, and I won't talk about my thoughts on the ending until we get there.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
First off, like going from Mobile Suit Gundam to this. It looks so different. It feels so different.
Especially because I feel like if insert animation in the Mobile Suit Gundam compilation movies kind of matched insert animation in these movies is really different.
It's so different. Well,
it does.
It's very
create some
2005.
Yeah. So it's animated in the early 2000s, which it's so funny to think of what a difference in technology we're looking at between those two things. But it also created this interesting effect. There was one scene in particular where Char is in a room in the new animation style talking to a guy, like in 2005, and he turns and exits into a hallway into a 1985 shot. And that was actually really cool. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. It's a little disruptive, but there are moments where it does like almost like a shot match thing to move a character to the next scene. That's kind of cool.
I started really liking it. It shows what they wanted to leave untouched, and the things they left untouched, I really enjoyed, like parsing their decisions on that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alice?
I'm just leaving the air open.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Jackson, do you have any overall thoughts on these?
Yeah, I really like these movies. I think they are very different in ways that are hard to parse if you're not like familiar with the source material, because they're like partially compilation movies, but they're also Tomino coming back 20 years later and making a lot of decisions to redress I would say areas in which he grows thematically over time, specifically in a lot of the gender stuff. The ways in which the women characters are treated in Zeta is pretty bad, just throughout the board. I think it's like often with decent intentions, but I do think Zeta is like the most sexist of the Tomino shows. Tomino shows are usually about gender and the way gender is like essentialized in warfare in ways that continue to be true, but that leads to Zeta just having like 12 random women in a row that all suck and die. And they get like the decisions she makes across these movies are interesting to me, and that sometimes there's not much you can do. Like the changes to Four's arc and like Four's death in these movies is way weaker than her death in the show, but I understand why, because you wouldn't want to do it again later. But she does just kind of fall down. Yeah. And I was like, are we going to get the Kilimanjaro stuff? And no, not really.
No, we don't.
Nope.
I just think that the choice to cut like the Rosamia stuff later in the show is a good smart choice.
Yes.
Because it really just gets a little monotonous. Sarah is front and center in the second movie in a way that like she's basically the protagonist, weirdly.
They really lean into her and Camille's plot more than in the show. Like it is fronted.
Yeah, I remember when I watched these, that was not a thing I was like predicting. I couldn't have predicted that Sarah would have raised in prominence so much. But it makes sense, like looking at the ways in which like these movies would take a lot of pains to humanize the women characters more, specifically in regards to like what's his face, Jupiter guy, Shirako, yes. Just
I started just calling him Pappy, which is not good.
Oh no!
Wow.
Also, sorry, just to interject here really quick, because the movie's cut the whole Kilimanjaro arc, Nico has not seen Camille punching crippled Jared off a cliff, so I have to show her that right now.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god. Okay, live react.
It's 5 seconds long.
No, he doesn't punch him. He judo threw that man off the mountain.
Sorry, yes. To be specific, yes.
All right, everything about Jared's character makes so much more sense to me. If I had that clown shit happen to me, I would be out to kill that motherfucker for the rest of my life.
Really explains his plot.
I remember when we watched Zeta at the time, and one of the things I deeply wanted in Double Zeta was I really think that the Titan should still be around in Double Zeta. That's just Jared and two other guys on a ship.
Yes.
Because that's kind of where he ends up is. He's still mad. But his like fail son ascent is amazing.
Speaking of mechs, wow, hey, they were kind of normal in the first one. How are you feeling now, Nico?
Ooh, we cooking now. We're finally cooking.
It shows they had a team. They were just churning out gold.
They were.
And I think there's a shift in priority, right? Because we saw a lot of variety in things that we were encountering in Mobile Suit Gundam, as I saw from my homework where you gave me 5 fucked up things to look at.
Red one, blue
but no,
one.
like in Mobile
purple
Suit
one.
Gundam, they tended to have a lot of different weird ships. Like they had different, like, and there's way more of a de-emphasis on ships. We see like 2 or 3 main ships, and then, but they have kind of similar profiles. We see some flying vehicles. The biplane is quite cool. I did love that little bit with the biplane. Anyway, like, you know, but there's much more variety in the actual mobile suits compared to the ships and the aircraft that we're seeing, which I think is an interesting shift in priorities.
To speak of the shift in priorities too, one of the things I really like about Zeta just in general is how it shows. At least this changes as things go on a little bit, but at least very early in the show, you're immediately made to understand who won the war and how deeply by the fact that like Zeon designs basically don't exist, and when they do, it's a Zaku with like some extra spikes, but they have to call it a different name. You know what I mean? I really like that.
Zach, thank you very much.
It does definitely feel like there's cross-pollination between the Federation and Zeon Designs in a way we didn't see in the first one, which is cool.
It does very good at pulling the Operation Paperclip. Federation got some of them scientists and started pumping out weird shit. You really get it more in the show. The movies do give you enough crumbs that you can pick up the underlying where it's all coming from. But the Hyzak like design is so clearly, hey, the Zaku is better than the GM. What if we made those as some grunt units, you know?
Yeah. I need to ask, just like the movie only, like in terms of understanding the mech designs, did the movie only just know about like Anaheim? How much are you understanding of Anaheim? Do you have?
I don't know. Okay, welcome to me. I don't know anything about the show Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. I've only seen these films. I have no idea about any of this. Like, there's the point later when Haman shows up with the fleet and we see the pink grunt suits start kind of
the Gaza
swarming. Yeah. And like, I have no understanding of like, who designed those? Where did those come from? Who designed this? Where did this come from? I have no information about Anaheim Electronics. I don't have any of this.
Well, like, Wong's from Anaheim, and he's funding the AUG. So, like, one of the things you got to realize is a lot of the, like, behind-the-scenes civil war of Gundam is about who gets to make the mobile suits.
Yeah, and so this is another thing where I was like, these movies did actually do a good job of making me want to watch the show, because I think what I was trying to get at was, like, the Mobile Suit Gundam compilation movies seem to be able to put the complete story on screen without missing much. And it seemed to me that it was like a condensing of like scenes that didn't necessarily maybe contribute to the overall arc or to characterization. This show, I feel like each episode must have had a little more going on, because I do materially, when I watch these movies, get the sense that I am missing information that I would like to have in a way I didn't for the other movies.
I want to be clear, you will feel like that watching the show as well.
But I do agree, and I think it's actually less because the show is clear and more because, like Jackson said earlier, these movies are doing something different with Zeta Gundam than the first Gundam movies did with First Gundam. They are necessarily reflective due to the time differential and all the different things that are changed about them. And so, yeah, like you're totally right. I just think it's that's why, rather than the show wants to be more interested in systems and corporatocracy and like what it means to be owned by like capitalists when you're trying to do something good in the world. It doesn't really ever get there, but yeah, that's kind of what I think
like
about it anyway.
0083 speaks to it pretty well, but we'll get there.
So yeah, let's jump into it. In part 1, it's called Heirs to the Stars. I'm just gonna call them the OOG. The OOG waged guerrilla war against the Titans across space. Our main character, Camille Bidan, is visiting his 2 mobile suit engineer parents on colony Green Noah 1. The Titans are using it to test the Gundam Mark II and are caught in the act by the OOG. In the fight, Camille gets radicalized, and in the ensuing running fight to Jaburo meets most of White Base's main crew from the 1-year war. The Titans flee to space with the OOG in hot pursuit. I need to say 2 important facts about Camille Bidan that we learn immediately. 1, he gets protagonist hair from his mother's side of the family. 2,
Yes.
motherfucker is beefing with a cop. Moment 1. It's really good. He immediately...
So
There's a scene where he confronts a cop in a mobile suit.
A-tab, all Titans are bastards.
I'm realizing, because we get the shot of him punching Jared, but we get it in a flashback.
We don't
in
get
the
the full
original
event,
show.
yeah.
That's like the first time we see Camille is him punching Jared.
Yeah, and about the name stuff, which becomes relevant later, but that was another part where I was like, wow, I'm missing like a whole scene that I kind of would have liked to see.
Brian, I see here you have a reservation.
I do. Sorry. I have to talk about the singer-songwriter from Japan that was extremely popular during the era this movie was made. His name is Gact. Until I pressed play on the on the film, I didn't know this had been made in 2005. I thought this was another one of those like, oh, it's been a couple years, let's do a compilation movie to release in the theaters and drum up some more, I don't know, Gun Plus sales or whatever. I did not know that this had a completely different thing going on. And so when the intro song played and it was Metamorphose by Gact, I was literally on the floor, activated like a fucking sleeper agent. Do you want to make it clear to me that something was made during the Bush administration? Put Gact in it. What the fuck? I was so taken aback. That's all. I just that was insane.
Pull.
That's just it. Sorry.
No, the song, so it's really funny. Like, I complained through the Mobile Suit Gundam movies about the ballads. I'm like, oh my god, these ballads. Gact, I was like, I don't really have opinions on it. Like you said, it's very, like, 2005. Okay, you know. The ending song for this film, after the sequence that ends this film, we will have to discuss at length. Yeah. I think a major thing to talk about here is there has been a time skip. So we've moved forward in time. 8 years. And we're going to be seeing a lot of familiar faces after that amount of time has passed, which I think it's funny. Time skips are often presented as like, we've already done 8 seasons of a show. Let's do a time skip and do like 8 more seasons or whatever. Or maybe I'm just Naruto poisoned. But anyway, like, I'm used to that kind of stuff. I didn't realize how much I would enjoy seeing the passage of time with familiar faces. Like, I really enjoyed meeting these characters again. Kai was such a great character to meet again.
Kai is so swagful in this. Yeah.
Like, there were so many things where I was just like completely delighted by having the passage of time. What did y'all feel about that? Like, just like, oh, here's these characters again. I mean, obviously y'all have already had this experience having seen Zeta before, but like, this to me was huge, but like,
I'm gonna love with
what
you.
do you feel
Honestly,
about the directions the characters went?
My first time I watched it, because you sit in the sauce of, hey, Char is here. He's the one through thread that we have from the first series, and then they're like, hey, all of White Base is also here, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of here for Camille's story. Like, it was fun seeing you guys, bye. And then they don't leave, and they're just there for the rest of the show. And my first reaction to that is, but like more and more, I enjoy it because I think they were all written so well. Like, I hate to give it to Tomino at any point in his life, but I liked all of the time skip things. I liked that Mirai still had her own like passions, as like, oh, I'm not escaping, or things like that. It's cute. I like that Amuro didn't end up with Frau Bo. I think that is such a character choice.
Yeah.
Brian, are you suffering? I think something that I really like about the passage of time is that we see that mobile suits have been more normalized, because we see that Camille is in like a student mobile suit piloting sports program, which I think is quite fun. I like that. I like it from 2 prongs. 1, I like the idea of mobile suits being normalized into society. 2, I like the insidious undercurrent of course you would train teenagers with mobile suits. You need pilots. Like, of course you would open them up to do judo and mobile suits. You need people who are going to be really proficient in using mobile
syndicated
suits.
sports to military pipeline.
Like I was thinking about junior ROTC, you know, and I mean junior ROTC in America, like I know in Britain the junior like rifle stuff is a little bit different, but like in America the ROTC stuff really is kind of like a direct, unquestioned pipeline to the military. But it's almost like if people were like, yeah, out of the sports your school can host, you can have this and this and this and rifles, you know, and rifles are overseen by military people. And it is kind of like, oh, yeah, these are the skills you want to cultivate early.
Well, also, to speak about it, a lot of First Gundam deals with the concepts of a World War II situation in space, and Zeta deals a lot with that muddy Korean War kind of vibes, where we're starting to see different politics shift and people align and find their place in a new normalized sphere in a way that is it's just neat to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's just worth saying that the like Grips Green Now 2, where Camille lives, is like the Titan's home base in space. So like that's why they're training all of the people to all the men to have mobile suits. He's been like going to fascist school from the fascist cop guys.
That makes sense.
It's not like every single space colony is doing this. He is specifically in like the Titans like fucking school. Which they kind of cut all of that out of the intro of like the intro of the show is all about he's cutting class to go see Bright because Bright's coming in, and so a lot of that context is being lost. Yeah, so you get less of that, less context of like what Bright's position is, which is I guess he's like the, you know, just kept his Earth Federation job while he gets beaten up by all these fascists until he's had enough. It's like, I'm going to work for the other guys now. Goodbye.
Real government worker, I have a pension energy, and then you just get to a breaking point and you're like, man, I'm not gonna have a pension. I gotta go.
Nah, the universe withdrew the debt on him all at once for all the slapping he did.
Oh yeah, he gets punched in the face and his character immediately corrects course. Like
yeah. It is funny given the like way that Bright's character goes, and we get because he's used early on to show a lot of the dynamics of the Federation and Titans like military. But then once you get to the reveal of like Karaba and what Hayata's doing, it does make Bright's character early on in that movie seem really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just are not keeping up with the times.
Hey guys, what if Titans?
Yes.
Can we just talk?
Yeah.
How do you interpret the Titans? It's a little subtle in their ideology and how they present themselves. The black leather trench coats, the tall caps, the insistence on feeling superior to space noids. I mean, like, it's a little subtle, but what do you think Tomino was trying to say with these people?
I think you made a good point about the muddiness of factions, because I think in the Mobile Suit Gundam movies we had Earth Federation, we had Zeon, and like that was pretty black and white. We have like 4 to 5 different groups that we're dealing with in this one, which led to a little bit of my confusion, but I also appreciated it because it seemed more realistic. It's like there are people who are gradations on these black and white powers, or who are entangled with other groups in ways that are compromising.
And the fact that it fragments towards the end and how it fragments, I think, are all really big W's for that concept also.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you call your shit the Titans, but you know, the Titans start looking good when Axis shows up, you know? So
we'll get to my Axis defense colony later. Okay, so a few things that I want to talk about. Number one, we have to talk about Camille. Gundam protagonists. That's going to be the through line of the 1 year pod. Gundam protagonists are important.
Will see classified data related to their parents' job and say, is anybody going to read that, and not wait for an answer?
What I do want to say is, like, out of Gundam protags, like, I think he has one of the strongest moral compasses, like self-moral code. Like, he's autistic as hell. My child is just so autistic, like black and white. There is a morality to things. And I just really love that, like, he immediately is like, yeah, fuck the cops. I'm turning. Like, this shit sucks. Hit the bricks. I just really like him. Compared to Amuro, who I felt had a lot of depth to him, and I really enjoyed his character, especially in Zeta. I love the older I am being watched by the military and can't be my own person because I'm a war hero, and also they're scared of cyber new types. It's subtle, it's nice, but like compared to him, you have Camille who like constantly like breaking regs in an unregulated unit, but it's always for a reason that I can kind of get behind. They give him a level of autonomy because they're an irregular force that I don't think Amuro got in the Federation, but I just feel like there's nothing Camille does in this show that I'm not like, okay, I get it.
I think Camille has a lot of indignant anger, and I do think he starts the show very bad at curtailing that into combat experience. But generally by the end of the show, I think I agree with you. Yeah.
The show explores it more. It is kind of smoothed over in Zeta, the movie.
Camille struck me as someone who he takes action, and almost every time he kills someone, he's like, well, the situation shouldn't have put you in my way. Which to me gave me a different impression of him compared to Amuro. Like, very much like willing to take the shot, but always willing to attribute having to take the shot to circumstance. I don't know. I did not have a clear conception of Camille as someone with a strong moral compass. He seemed to be someone who had more conviction and was more headstrong than Amuro was, who was kind of constantly mired in self-doubt, but also like, I don't know, it made him impulsive, and it's funny, it may just be the way that the movies were cut together. Like y'all were saying, like Sarah is kind of made almost the protagonist of the second movie and stuff. I really didn't feel him strongly as a protagonist force. Like there's a whole bit in the third movie where like Katz Kobayashi is way more of a protagonist than Camille feels like at many times. And so I feel like in the movie, having only seen the movies, I don't have a strong enough impression of Camille to like make really strong statements about my perception of like his moral judgment, his relationship to war and combat and stuff. I have an impression of him, and I like him generally, but like, I don't know. I feel like I had stronger feelings about Amuro. Jackson, how do you feel about Camille as a protagonist?
I think with Camille that's interesting is that like Amuro is a very reactive kind of mech protagonist that you see a lot in that his primary motivation is like protecting his friends, right? Like his friends have been pulled to war and he wants to protect them, which means that's why he fights, but is put into situations where that still requires like acting in political situations and like fighting, war in space against Xeon. But his motivations are generally very small scale. Camille, on the other hand, is like his home wasn't attacked, right? He attacked his home, honestly, all things considered. He has very little, I would say, like ideological backing as to why he does what he does. He just acts out of a sense of wrongness. He understands that he doesn't like the Titans. He doesn't like being molded into this kind of like masculine weapon. So he goes over to Shah, who then has to mold him into a different kind of weapon, and gives him like a little more backing by explaining, what's going on with the Aug and why you fight, and just giving him reasons to care about things. But he does a really bad job at it because Shah's terrible at talking to anyone.
I think you mean Lieutenant Quattro. No one can confirm who that man is until the reveal in movie 2. Nico,
until Brian puts on a white suit and starts doing some investigative journalism.
Right. But like Camille is kind of like a raw nerve, and he's being shaped by all of these different adults. He has very few peers, kind of far. He latches onto all these different women as peers, and they all keep dying. And he never really gets to form his own sense of like why he's doing anything. And Shah does a really bad job at raising him, all things considered.
It's hard when you're a single dad because your partner won't leave her.
And Nico makes a good point that I did sort of notice throughout watching the movies is there are a couple like very iconic Camille moments that were cut from this. Like, I don't believe he says, "I'm tired of you adults and all your lies." That's like an iconic Camille crash out moment, which I thought was strangely missing from this. But we also don't get him saying, "I'm an autistic child," which is couched in a whole different thing that we don't have to talk about. But
we don't have the time. There's a lot.
But I do think it's a good point to talk about Camille looking for like people to attach to and not having them, because like the definitional Camille moment that we see on screen is they put his mom in a fucking capsule and shot it.
Guys, we're putting women in tubes again.
Literal, they're putting her in the gachapon.
Tube woman.
Put that on the counter. Tube woman.
Another tube woman confirmed. We keep seeing
Another tube woman confirmed. That's so true. We need to start tracking this. We'll put Ghost on it. But like the battle that he's in initially has a very bad KD ratio for Camille's parents. Like it's like
Jesus
overwhelming.
Christ.
At one point, when he starts mentioning the mistress, I kept waiting for her to show up and also die. Because I'm like, we have to have a total party wipe on Camille's parental figures.
I do love, so in the show, the mom plot and the dad plot are kind of two different plots. They happen like a couple episodes apart. I like that they're wrapped up in this, and I also like that they basically leave the dad thing untouched, which is he's literally the biggest idiot in all of anything who's ever lived.
And yet somebody gets tricked by him, and I want to. We can talk about how many people are tricked on these ships by the most mundane things. I do want to talk
mobile
about
suits exist to be stolen. That's just true. That's just a universal truth.
That's just a true thing.
To speak to Nico about this directly, is we start to see a lot of things forming in this that are things you see in Gundam. So we start to see the themes come through that you're going to see in every Gundam, including, hey, what's in that box? Oh, it's a little round guy. Oh, it's Haru again.
Haru has been deployed to Camille's location. I will say, you started to talk about themes and then you went to Haru, but this is where I wrote down
Haru
the quote.
is a theme.
Yeah, Haru is a
is
theme in Gundam.
A second theme. I did write down the quote, people whose souls are pulled down by Earth's gravity.
Yep.
This becomes
yeah.
like a refrain in a really interesting way to talk about an actual distinction between, and not even an actual distinction, it's not like it's measurable or measured on screen, to my knowledge, but like a distinction between people born on Earth and people born in space. Which again, I think is interesting because I brought it up on our MSG episode, but Amuro is an interesting person because he's sort of situated in the Earth category, but was born on the side. Like, I don't know.
Well, he was born on Earth and then went to the side as a very young child.
That's right. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's an interesting distinction they're creating about people's souls and about gravity. This is when I really had my I've only been looking at the shadows on the wall thing because I was so jazzed by this in Heaven Will Be Mine, and then I was like, oh, right, it's in conversation with this. It didn't invent it, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
I did have to say that I kind of laughed and you're like, there's this line about gravity that they keep repeating, which is basically like watching Star Wars again. This is an interesting thing about the Force they keep saying. Like, that's like the Gundam thing. This is like the number one, like the most famous thing they do in Gundam.
Can I tell you, I did the same shit with Star Wars that I've done with this, where I had never seen Star Wars, and then I saw an advertisement that they were doing the new one, and God, who was the actor who played Finn? He's one of my favorite actors. Shit.
John Boyega.
Yes, thank you, John Boyega. I saw John Boyega was going to be in that film, and I was like, I want to see that, but I don't know the backstory. I guess I'll go watch Star Wars for the first time.
Jesus Christ.
And I did the same shit where I was like, oh, I'm experiencing all of this for the first time backwards and just have a completely weird, fucked up relationship to Star Wars because of it. I'm doing the same thing here and I'm very aware of it. I have a question later about Minovsky particles. We will get to that because I kept thinking about midichlorians. But first, we have to talk about Lieutenant Quattro.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk about the whole crew too, because like, hey, we've got a cast. There's 5,000 characters in Zeta.
There's a lot of characters in this, but I will say, the moment you see the red mobile suit come on screen zipping around, I was like, oh my God, it's him. The guy. The blonde devil is here. And it's so funny to me. Char as a character is positioned, like y'all said, like almost as a surrogate parent for Camille in a way that he is like clearly not equipped for. And throughout this, it's so funny to watch his character the way I wrote this down was like positioned as being on your side for the first time. Like as the audience, you are with this crew, and this is kind of the side that you're attached to. And so for once, Char is kind of in your camp, and it's a funny sensation as an audience member to be like, oh, that's Char, he's our guy. Like I've always liked him to a certain degree, but now he's on our side, so to speak. And it's interesting to see him in that position. Also, the sunglasses and the sleeveless uniform with gloves is like insane. There are a couple of lovingly animated shots in this of him taking off his gloves before he eats something that's crazy.
Yes.
Outfit check. Holy shit. The AEUG's official uniform is serving cunt.
The fits go incredibly hard.
Holy shit.
That's why it's
Camille's outfits are so good too. I can't with it.
Yeah, but also, we gotta talk about the mecha, which is, we've been introduced to Alice's favorite unit from Zeta
Richard
Gundam.
Diaz?
The
Richard
MSA
Diaz?
003 Nemo. Hello, Nemo. I love you.
Oh, okay.
The Nemo
We were all
is my
so excited about
favorite
Richard
GM
Diaz.
variant. He's so stupid looking. I love his dumb butt. The Nemos on the Aragama pulls so much weight.
I love that. There's a bunch of stuff in Zeta that's this color. I love this like
I
teal
love the use
color.
of colors and everything. We're making space robots. Who cares? Like, start painting them whatever.
Yeah. I really liked that diversity in the robots showing up, in the mobile suits showing up. I was so excited.
So we start to see this melding of transforming suits are very big in Zeta. We also get, they start to blur the lines between mobile armor and mobile suit, especially with like placement of cockpits. So like on the Rick Diaz, the cockpit's in the head, which much like the Zeong from the first one, like we start to see adjustments to what we take for granted with these designs.
Yeah.
And then you get the Hayakushiki. That's
The
it.
Yakushiki, the famous Yakushiki from our award that we give to people when we give them 10s across the board, the Yakushiki.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants one, I have a gold painted one ready to mail.
It's insane. It's so funny. It's like Char was like, man, if I keep flying around these red mechs, somebody's already asked me if I know about Char, and he said, yeah, I've heard of Char, in a conversation which was like insane. I love that.
Oh, no. Rekko did not say I've heard of Char. She said, I've heard of Char, and I also heard he had the biggest dong literally in ever human history of all time forever, and he's the most swagful person that's ever lived.
And then Char goes, yeah, I heard of him. Now that's what I wrote down, because she like...
There's a rumor that if you kiss Char and make him promise you something, you'll die in the next sortie, but you'll get your wish. Did you know
Absolutely
that?
insane shit. Absolutely insane shit. But it's so funny because the Hyakushiki is really giving Char, like, I can't keep painting them red. What's the other best color I could do? Oh, gold. It's really funny.
It looks like a cologne bottle to me. It doesn't really.
Jackson, what are your
do
thoughts
it.
on the mecha designs in this first movie of Zeta as we start to see the AEUG and the Titans design aesthetics?
The Oog.
I generally like the mecha design in Zeta. I guess I don't think about it that much, which is a weird thing to say. These are all like suits that have become very normalized to me. I'm like, yep, the Gundam suits. I think it's definitely one of the least experimental eras of Gundam in terms of, I guess there's the transforming suits, but like there's nothing like the Zucrello in the Grips Crisis.
We're sad to miss it.
And so I feel like it's a very pretty standard era for the aesthetics of the mech design. I definitely just generally feel like the Zeta, Double Zeta is my like least favorite era for Universal Century aesthetics. I prefer 1 Year War, and then I also prefer like Victory when it gets all like small and all the colors are pastel-y and it looks incredible. So this like high detailed like 80s era is actually the one I'm least into. But I do like how it's reflected when you then get the weird and suddenly we're in 2004 and it's Digipaint and everything looks even different in a whole different way.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Nico, for your consideration, because you won't see it in the movie, I do want to advise you that in Zeta Gundam we meet the Petite Mobile, which is the cutest little guy. He's just here to help you out.
Oh my god! he?
I know
Oh,
he's so
fuck.
cute.
I'm fucked. I need the kid in this thing.
He's so
Shit,
cute.
Fuck. Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wait, guy, Jackson, look over there. Is that a ship from Jupiter over there?
The way they motherfucking talk about the guy. Oh, he came back. Did you know he came back from Jupiter?
The
Motherfucker,
Jupiters.
I don't.
Jackson, tell me your thoughts on the Jupiter returning entire everything plot.
It's fucking great. Patrick is really is just such a weird, skeevy guy.
yeah.
And it's definitely not like it's such a strange angle for the series to like pivot on his introduction because and it kind of the effect is lesser in the movies because the movies kind of make it feel like the Grips War happened over about a week and not a whole year.
We're in 1 Year War Part 2, by the way, Nico. But we call it the Grips
Yeah, I'm
conflict because
aware.
it wasn't really a war. It was just a bunch of militias fighting, so we don't have to call it a war.
The
Okay.
continuing conflict in the Middle East, but the war is over. Got it.
God, yeah. And so the thing with Sirocco that's interesting is like the Titans whole thing is this like masculine fascist projection of control, right? Like typical Nazi influence, Italian influence, jackbooted fascists. And while technically being from the same faction as those, once like all of the main Titan guys leave the screen, Sirocco comes in and is way more about like master male manipulator. Shit.
Oh my god.
He really
It's
is
very
on
strange.
his Lana Del Rey shit.
I like him. I mean, okay, so like as a dude, this is like the worst guy who's ever been invented by anyone.
It is weird that he has, and this one's for Nico and the girly fans, he had a bump it under his hair the whole time, which was an interesting choice.
It's really good. I once described him as having zombie-esque characteristics, and I was disquieted by
It's
them. but
it's the
bump
like
is good.
weird like hyper racialized Roman influence on him, right? That's like what kind of evokes the zombiness to
Oh
me.
no, it's
Yeah.
the purple
I-
hair.
Oh, it's the purple hair. Obviously. It's the Garma could have this hairstyle if he wasn't such a twink.
We have Garma at
and-
home.
No, I think he's like so interesting and complicated and awful, and I also think like he is a very interesting like Black Mirror to Char in terms of just like what they think about the world. Like Char is this like egotist who wants to have like this insane high level grasp on like the future of humanity, and Sirocco will say over and over again that he's just someone who will go along with history. You know what I mean? The degree to which that's actually true is up in the air, but I like that as like them being opposed in that way.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I will say, like, one of the things we see in this that we didn't see as much in previous stuff is like human casualties. The first thing that really struck me is when they were talking about the colony drop that was going to be perpetuated on the moon, showing us the colony that had been gassed. That was crazy.
Yeah.
The mummified bodies in the colonies, people frozen in the poses that they had been. And there's a point at which where they're going to detonate the Jabra with the nuclear warhead, where there's an evacuation and people are literally falling off the stairs and out of the door of the plane as it takes
It's pretty
off.
grim.
Yeah, like it's something that I don't think we saw as much of before, except for like, just like in abstract, kind of like the narrator telling us each of these lights is 1 to 100 people dying or whatever. We're actually seeing more of it on screen in a way that was kind of gripping. It was quite it was cool in terms of giving the story more stakes. But I did think it was funny heading into the Jabro stuff. They had to do another reentry thing, which is when I have to talk about my favorite technology that has also become like ever
Inflatables?
present. Inflatables. We had to talk about
Yes.
the fucking decoys.
Fuck yes, I love the
decoys, Gundam shaped inflatables, the balloons, which are incredible. They're dropping down. Like there are so many crazy inflatables in this
This
show.
rules. It goes
I'm
so hard.
obsessed with them. It's like Tomino just discovered inflatable technology.
Well, to talk about it too, like this takes the technology in a more grounded way while having weird 80s designs. We haven't even talked about fingers yet, which is we are opening fingers and we are shooting whatever need out of them. We have rope finger. We have goo finger. We have washing finger. We have firework
goo
finger.
is such a good way to put that.
Don't ever say rope finger to me again.
That's a better way to put it than what I wrote, which was, of course, cum finger. But like, that's what it looks like.
There are moments in this, too, that when Tomino engages with hard sci-fi, I think is one of his best parts. Like, it's in the novels, it's very good. Like, the Elokar is shouted out a lot more. Like, in this one, we see Camille fail to start a motorcycle because nobody knows how to use a carbureted engine in the future, because why would you?
I didn't catch that, but that's a cute detail.
That is cute.
Yeah, Master Mechanic Camille can't do it. But to go on this thought, they use it in very cool ways, like the suit hanger scene that we get later on. Or like,
it's really good.
There's a part where he's like, hey, do you know how to use the handlebars? Or, oh, I can only have this cake in the rotating block because this cake only works in artificial gravity. And it's really interesting to have those moments come out. And then the Ashamar appears.
Yeah.
She's fucking here, y'all.
They really gave Nico a dub with this whole sequence. This was crazy.
Here,
this fight
y'all.
ruled.
She's present. My canceled wife is here. I'm so obsessed with her. She's
so. How did you
feel
when you met the actual pilot? Because you originally met and fell in love with Gundam Evolution.
I could have saved her. I'm the pilot.
That dude did not deserve the donut.
This fucking guy. I don't care about him. I don't give a shit. I just really don't. But I love the Ashamar. I love the Circle. Like, if you're gonna have something transform, you might as well have it look like a UFO. It looks so fucking weird. I love that it's like gold and avocado green because it's the fucking 80s. Like, I love her so much. No, so I was just gonna say, like, so we get to Earth and now we're seeing Amuro doing stuff, right? So Amuro hijacks a plane, shout outs, like, and Hayato is there too. Like, they're doing Giga Chad shit on Earth. There's the Ashamar confrontation. There's a very good, like, sequence where Char is like sensing Amuro and he gets distracted and the Ashamar comes up in his view screen and all these warnings pop up and everything of the proximity alerts. That was such a great animated sequence. I was obsessed with that. But then fucking Amuro kamikaze attacks the Ashamar, but of course just like dips out because the shit sucked. The animation's amazing. This was like an added sequence. Not completely, but definitely segments of this were reanimated or added. Leading us to, Brian, you also highlighted this.
Yep. Let's talk about the reunion.
Just sorry, real quick. I just want to give a quick shout out to a thing that comes back later for some reason, even though it's mostly cut from this, which is Rosamia. Which is the other cyber new type. Just for Nico's sake, her plot happens at the tail end of Zeta, and it's just for Murasame again, but with brother stuff this time instead of girlfriend stuff. And they cut all of that completely out, but she's also still in the dead woman space laser at the end. So I just really wanted to make sure we all
and we've missed some dead women. Like, we lost Lila early. It's like, R.I.P. You seemed really cool. She did like a 0G karate kick into this one guy. It was really cool. Like, but yeah, this fucking reunion scene is so lovingly animated. I have to get out of the cockpit as we glide to look into your eyes. This whole sequence is insane. And then the song hits. Did you listen to the entire song while reading the translated lyrics? What the fuck are we doing here?
I think it's up for interpretation if they're in a gay union relationship for each other.
Jackson, what is your? I don't actually. I've listened to GGP. I don't actually know your like general thoughts on Char and Amuro.
Shamaro.
Explicitly.
It's time.
I mean, what is that even? It's pretty textual.
Just links this scene.
It's pretty textual. I mean, it's pretty textual is my favorite answer to that question.
I mean, the problem is it's really hard to have this discussion without just talking about Char's counterattack.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to do, given that I know you're watching it soon. But I care about it a lot. I think like the ways in which they're both the exact person the other one needs, but they are never really able to open up in a way that matters is just good Gundam tragedy stuff. I like the moments in Zeta that we actually see them working together for once. I like the ways in which they're both like running away from their fate. Though it is funny that Amro's vision of running away involves sitting in a mansion getting like poured wine all day, and Char's vision of running away is funding the fucking guerrilla warfare, but just not being fully in charge of it. Like,
Amuro's comfortable, but I think it's really sad that he's like that Lala's sort of prophecy came true, which is he has no one to go back to. He has nobody.
Yeah.
And
it's fucked. I hate it for him. There's a line where he says, "My life is hell," and I'm just like, yeah, and I know why. And then I saw it on screen.
I also want to say, talking about like what I liked about what they left untouched in terms of the animation, the entire elevator scene between Amuro and Char, where Char like accuses him of being afraid of seeing Lala if he goes to space, totally untouched. That is one of the great scenes of Zeta Gundam to me. I really loved that they kept that in there, just like as it was.
That scene was so important. I guess can I just reveal a Double Zeta thing because you're not watching it?
Yeah,
please.
30 episodes into Double Zeta, they just randomly dropped that Amuro's in space now. And I was like, what the fuck? Right? Because I was like, I thought that was like a big deal for him, and then suddenly he's in space in the next show. That's why like not in Double Zeta because they're on Earth at that point. It's very
so
funny.
wild.
No, it is really funny. Gundam, unbeaten champion of sauceless kisses, but it is really funny that he has a sauceless kiss with Beltor Chica and then immediately goes into that elevator scene, which is like crazy tense and fraught, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. You guys get that this is embarrassing, right? We've got to move on to movie 2 because this is when this shit is happening. So let me go ahead and do our little intro spiel.
What's the title of this film?
It's called Lovers, which again, I got a 3-hit knockout, which was the falling scene, the gay-ass ballad, and then the title card introducing that the next film was called Lovers. I just sat staring at my VLC media player like, what could it mean? Anyway.
Why would they say that?
Why did he say this? What did he mean? Part 2 is called Lovers. It's time for another colony drop.
Hell
but before
yeah.
that, the Psycho Gundam and 4 Murasame, a cyber new type, show up to kiss Camille and destroy Hong Kong. As you do. It ends with 4 dying and the crew returning to space. With the Titans trying to drop a colony on the moon, the Titans and Oog war escalated, and now Jupiter is here to cause issues and introduce new mobile suits and armors. He literally returned to Jupiter. I don't know if you guys have heard this.
What happens?
We end with Axis entering the chat as war becomes even more muddy. So movie 2. Yeah. The scene in the elevators in movie 2, this is so funny. It does open with, we'll get into this, but anyway, Beltor Chica, a character who really just like kind of is not appearing in this film to a great extent, flies up to a spacecraft on a biplane. And Amuro, who is on the spacecraft, it's in the atmosphere, but Amuro, who is on it, gently catches the plane in the hands of the Gundam. It's incredible stuff. Like, I love the technologies interacting. It felt so good. It was really cool. I wish I knew more about her character, and corollary to that, I wish her character was good, because I feel like,
Nico, not even for content, not even for pod, we have got to watch Tornado together. If this scene got to you, we have to.
It's gonna honestly,
we should just watch that one for fun, because it's so fun.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Jackson, I so relate to you having 4 million podcasts, because the problem is, as me and Brian have talked about, once you have the podcast infrastructure, once you have this, that you've paid too much for a microphone, and you have the ability, and you know what to do about it, and you know how to edit files, you kind of, there's no reason not to make more podcasts. You have everything you need. And I'm just sitting here like, we specifically launched this podcast as a hobby. We're all employed. Well, I'm sorry, Brian. We are mostly all employed full time.
Insensitive.
I'm sorry. Brian recently got fired.
I can't believe you've done this.
It's definitely like a secondary thing, and yet the desire every day to be like, let's just make another podcast, guys.
We can do more coverage.
Podcast. I'm not driving. One more podcast.
Hey, Jackson, is it true that you're a cyber new type from the Oakland lab? What was your number?
Probably 7. I don't know.
Okay, we gotta talk about new types. We gotta talk about cyber new types because, hey guys,
Yeah, what is the difference?
We're
Please
gonna do
school me
magic in this show now. We're just doing magic.
This does not become clear in these movies at all, does it? Cyber new types are like artificial new types that they like make in a lab with psychological
war
shit.
Orphan and you hypnotize her to become psychomu enabled.
Oh, so to relate it to the more foundational text, much like in Robot Jocks, they're kind of like tubies.
Yes.
You would call
They
them
are
tubies.
very that. Except there's it's very subtle. You blink and you miss it. They all have psychological problems.
It's so subtle.
The important thing is that cybernetype is a weird translation choice.
Yes.
The term in Japanese is like enhanced human.
Yeah, that has
it
a
is
very
not-
different valence.
Yeah, it is not as direct a thing, but basically it comes out of like, you know, they shoved a bunch of orphans on the white base and they all got psychic powers. We could probably do that. We could probably figure that out.
Oh, yeah. God, that does remind me. I mean, we're always referencing, I don't know if you've read it, Jackson, we're always referencing Iron Widow and Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. It did remind me of the thing in the second book where they talk about the creation of the Emperor with the greatest spirit pressure ever having been a poison jar experiment. Like, yeah, you gotta put children in the Soul Destroyer, and then you'll get, actually, hilariously, a really good mech pilot. We don't know why.
And then Gundam went on to explore this thought for everything ever.
An important thing happens here. Camille gets a new piece of equipment. In movie 1, he's issued Haro. In movie 2, he's issued Amuro's cherished gun I used in a fight with Char.
You can't just give kids guns. Gundam teaches us day in and day
Wait,
out.
I thought he gave Cats that gun. Is that?
Oh, it's Cats, right. I got confused on which child they were co-parenting.
Cat
Amuro
and Cats
Char end up
literally
co-parenting Hayato's son.
immediately points it at Char though. Like literally 15 seconds later.
That's what it's for. That's what it's for.
How do we feel about them keeping Cat's eye drawing type from when it was a small child character in the first one? Because he doesn't have irises or the whites. He just has the dot and the line because he was drawn like
That's
that.
hereditary. He gets that from his dad, doesn't he?
From Hayato.
Yeah.
Are they adoptive parents?
I do think it's funny. I think because Cats
Oh,
was
maybe.
one of the war orphans, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the dwarf.
Oh, he
from,
must be because he'd only
yeah,
be 8
he's
years old
adopted.
otherwise, obviously.
But
duh.
it is passed down. It was a surgery. No, I'm kidding.
It was a surgery.
I do think it's funny how much. So one of the things I was thinking about as I was looking at the insert animation, which of course, as we mentioned, ramps up here. We get a lot more of it in this movie. Is I think it's interesting that they didn't even really try to match the original style. Like there's strong differences in like character design. Camille in 1985 versus Camille in 2005
yeah.
has a different hairstyle, a different facial kind of configure. He's recognizable, but it's very different. And it's funny when the 2005 style struggles with the stylizations of the 1985 pulled from the 1979 stuff. I feel like it struggles a lot with any character that still has that kind of simplified facial structure, it was just interesting to me to watch as this insert footage became more prevalent. They kill my girl in this one. The Ashmar dies.
Lines of all time. I'm sure being a surrogate father will be a good experience for me. Meanwhile, Katz ends up parenting himself and dying in space. So,
that's the thing, because what happened was they were briefly co-parenting, and then Amuro's like, I live on Earth now, and then the single dad, like, it's hard to be a single parent. Can we get a compilation of Char from Zeta with the Reba theme song?
oh, it exists. It exists. It 100% exists.
I know Katz is a pilot trainee, but early on in Zeta, and I know there might be many inconsistencies in what happens in Zeta, but they're like, hey, the AEUG doesn't have enough mechs. We're short on mobile suits. Cut to, hey, we've got this like super-powered G-Armor knockoff over here. Who should pilot this very important and expensive piece of Gundanium equipment? And they're like, the 12-year-old. What are we doing here?
I don't fucking know.
Why are
know.
we instituting
Beats me.
a generational trauma AEUG? We don't need to do it.
Oh, didn't you hear Frau Bo? Because that's men. That's what you're supposed to do as men. That's what Frau
that's what
Bo
you're supposed
says.
to do as men. Also, this is the organic, non-GMO version of what we're going to find out about with the Psycho Gundam
Okay,
stuff.
so the three women from Gundam 0079, Mirai gets married to Bright and has 2 kids, just lives in Hong Kong, just being a mom.
I could have given you a different life.
Frau Bo adopts the 3 children and marries
Hayato.
Hayato. And is just like hanging out. Sayla, we see the one cameo scene, is just living her best life.
We should just say it
You can
now.
quit
No
war.
one ever gives a shit about Sayla ever again. It's really sad. So
That fucking sucks. And I
Hey,
mean,
we got
I
an AU
understand
where people cared about her again, and people didn't like it.
No. Everything I hear about G-Quox is so...
Yeah,
it's
Jackson,
like
have
a
you seen
dark
G-Quox?
monster.
No, I'm still where
you're
like
waiting until
2014.
DGP gets there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
So
Okay.
I haven't gone ahead and watched.
All right, let's not
that's
say
true.
anything about
I watched-
G-Quox then.
I watched like one episode of G-Quox and I thought it was like one of the most evil things I'd ever seen.
It really is. Like, anytime I talk to a Gundam person, they're like, oh yes, the great Satan G-Quox. And I'm like,
It was specifically the shot-for-shot recreation of episode 1 of Gundam, but without any shots of civilians or enemy mobile pilots. I thought was like a betrayal of the entire reason cinema exists. Like, they had when Amuro stabs the other Zaku, you see the pilot. He kills a man, but
He's named after
cut that-
Pants and he dies really badly.
Yeah, right. You see when the colony is attacked, you
Piles
see
of dead
all
bodies.
of the civilians getting
Frau Bo
and they
crying over
kept
them.
all the like iconic sound effects, the angles, the mechs, the everything you remember, except the actual human cost of the mechs. I was like, well, you fucked it up. How have you done this? That's all I know. If I just know, I've just seen that stuff, and I hear it doesn't even get better after that.
You've seen Origin, right?
I have seen Origin, yeah.
At least Sayla gets Origin. That's all I'll say. I feel like, at least she's got that.
I guess.
please rebut. Alice says out-of-pocket shit.
There's not enough time to explain the Yaz Tomino civil war that happens behind the screen. Well, it's not really a civil war. Yaz keeps fighting Tomino, who is not thinking about him at all at that point, as Yaz rewrites First Gundam to like retcon it to to discredit new type theory is a thing he says in an interview because of the sarin gas attacks.
Yep.
Anyway, there's just a lot of crazy stuff that goes, because the thing that often frustrates me is people go, "I'll just start with the origin," and they think it's just like a prequel to Gundam, and they don't realize that it's actually this like way crazier thing of one of the guys involves like personal beefs with the other guy. And to be clear, by this point, Tomino's making Turner. He doesn't give a fuck about Amuro anymore.
I don't think about you at all.
It's so funny. But yeah, that's all about the origin. It's weird.
Whiplash 2, we have a lot of really cool women. We're gonna kill them in front of you. And if we don't kill them, we're gonna kill their character. Let's talk about Rakoa.
Oh, fucking Rakoa.
Well, wait,
They did
we
it,
haven't even
girl.
really gotten to 4 yet, though.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't got there.
4.
Oh, yeah, 4. So 4 is my favorite, my second favorite cyber new type after Marita Cruz from Unicorn. I think 4 is just, like, the perfect example of, like, Tomino starting to interrogate how a woman versus a man would go through, like, becoming a new type in the weirdest way possible. I don't know. I just really like her. We don't see it. I think, Brian, you commented on this in your notes, but we don't see like the full extended 4X Camille.
No.
Which is so good.
4 kind of dies twice in the original show. She has like this arc happens basically the same way, except you don't super know if she died or not, and then she comes back and dies for sure later on. And I think, Jackson, you said something about this earlier too, which is like, I get why they just cut it here, but also the last thing we see of her is just kind of falling into the oceans.
It's not a great death.
The sad little execution, like it's so depressing. She deserved so much more.
Yeah. I want to, on a slightly lighter note before we really dive into this, I need to say, I love every little fuck-ass car we see in Gundam. They all look like they came in a crate and you assembled them yourself at home. Why are the doors
I could strap this thing to my feet and walk it down the road like roller skates. I love them so much.
It's insane. I love them.
There's a scene in the first movie where Camille just steps into an Ella car because it has like a little like low door and a big ass window that's open. He just steps in. I love how they treat vehicles.
It literally looks like something you order off of Temu and it gets delivered to your house, but it works. I need in a world where that shit. Anyway. Yeah, we have a weird encounter where 4 is like following people. She's acting as a spy, which is the funniest thing to assign a woman with aqua hair and blue lipstick to do. You want to talk about someone would point at in a lineup. But this exchange happens, which is so funny, related to the sequence from the end of the previous film. 4 says, that couple, referring to Amuro and Beltorchica, are they married? And Camille says, they're just licking each other's wounds. What did he mean by this?
It's that comment, are they lovers? And then the reply is worse.
Worse. But yeah, like they have this really, in the movie at least, it's really condensed, it's really intense. My notes were average neurodivergent woman, and Camilla's doing 500 days of summer shit with 4. Because she is the manic pixie dream lab rat. She is what we see of her in the movie is very like, she's competent in many ways, and then she has this like almost... There's a thing they say on beautiful vaunted podcast Kill James Bond, which is infant brain, when they talk about some of the ways women are written in James Bond films. And their sexual interest for Bond, but like they're written to actually have really simplistic, almost childlike personalities in a way that's kind of uncomfortable. And I feel like 4 vacillates from what little bit we get in the movie between competence and running around the top of a roof yelling "wee" and laughing. And it was tough for me to kind of reconcile.
This is funny because there is a 4 analog in a series I don't think you're watching later on, that when we watched it for DGP, one of our takeaways was the character would make more sense if she was a dog.
Exactly. It's exactly that type of character. And
So if you want to know how bad this can get in Gundam, go and experience the story of Stella. See Destiny. It can get real bad.
I think I have similar thoughts to this whole thing as I had with Lala, which is like, on paper, this is tropey, this is misogynistic, it's a little bit uncomfortable. I think that her writing and her dialogue are like profoundly affecting. And Nico, I don't want to misrepresent this. We don't get that much more 4 in the show. She just shows up again to die. So like this is the brunt of it. I think the rooftop scene where she's running against the chain link fence, that's another one of those scenes that's untouched from the original. I think it works so well. I think this like, juxtaposition where 5 seconds later she's glowing on the side of a burning like girder and like forcing the Psycho Gundam to come to her is like such a good contrast. I love the things she's like, the dialogue here when they're fighting and Amuro or Camille's like climbing all over her cockpit and stuff is so brain powered pilled because it's so fast. They're saying such wild things to each other. But I love it. There's no way you could fix something they can't fix at the laboratory, and then her delivery of "be kind to me." And there is some cool stuff here. It's very subtle, but there is some cool stuff here in terms of Camille from the start has had a problem with his name and like has an issue reconciling himself with his name. 4 has the most literal version of that problem because she doesn't have a name. She has a fucking number. And the fact that she has like presumably given herself a surname, has created a name out of the number 4,
is meaningful, and it's something that Camille takes away. And like, I don't know about the actual series, but like through the rest of the movies, I don't think he comments ever again on his name. He says to her, like, you know, she asks, is like, do you like your name now? And he's like, you know, I'm kind of reconciled to it. Like, I have better feelings about it. There is power there, and there is real human feeling. I just had a hard time. And again, the condensing of the story is part of the problem. But yeah, I'll leave it there. But anyway, I'm posting in the chat my other notes on 4, which are just stupid. So anyway, we can move on.
Hey, I want to talk about the Psycho Gundam for conservatively 30 minutes.
Yes, please.
Anyway, guys, hey, what if refrigerator? Do you get it?
Yeah.
It's the joke that everybody makes about the Psycho Gundam.
When I watched this last year, I kind of popped off because, like, I think the cube mode is really silly. I think it's the ominous music and like the way that like this amazing drawing of 4 manipulating it from a distance is paired with the fact that it's a big silly cube, but then it unfolds into Gundam but really big and evil, and then they have the scene where Amuro is in Char's old mech, which gay, with like a piggyback ride on it. It's so good.
Yeah. We love to talk about scale on the show. That was such a cool scale moment. Like, it was so
really cool.
Freaky to see that happen.
Well, when we have mobile armors in Gundam, they're always some fantastical design, like the Adzam or one of those other fucked up ones. What if you just made the mobile suit bigger? We can have variable sizes of the mobile suit. Anyway, unrelated, I broke open mine, and I'm currently building the 26 sprue Psycho Gundam kit that they released.
Hell yeah. That thing's gonna go up to like your thigh.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna put it inside of me. Jackson, what are your thoughts on the Psycho Gundam?
Psycho Gundam's a classic. I don't know. I think the Hong Kong fight is one of the like more iconic moments of Zeta. It's the first time we have a real like fight in a city in Gundam.
And brutally
which is like a thing
so, like inside of tall buildings, and you are like in the show they show the carnage, like you are seeing people die.
And there's moments of that. There's moments of that in 079, but like because the Gundam enters the 1 year war so late, there's nothing really like this. Like when they have their fight with Gamma, it's like in the bombed out wreckage of a city, right? Like there's nothing like, oh, the Gundam's just going loose through Hong Kong and blowing up everyone around them. And it's like a really good affecting sequence, especially as like 4 is one of the more sympathetic like enemy pilots we get to see, and yet the like amount of death she's causing compared to the other like villain suits is like exponentially more. She's just been dropped in the middle of a city and is stepping on people by the hundreds. Like she's going crazy, and it's just a really good evocative sequence.
Yeah, and I'd like to issue a formal apology to Hong Kong on behalf of Mechs, because I just remembered that like the big in the city fight in Pacific Rim that happens is also in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Damn, fuck your whole life, dude.
Well, and also it's really cheap to get filming permits. I heard when they were filming Zeta Gundam and they were doing the new shots, it was actually a lot easier for them because, you know.
Good joke. Rare W, good joke. The last you see of her is just her body falling in the ocean. I think there's an interesting parallel here with stuff we see with a body in the 3rd movie. It's interesting to compare and contrast, but it is another like unceremonious death of a female character, and I really wanted to bring that up before we get into the next bit, which is the new protagonist of this film. Yeah, so it starts with subterfuge.
Yeah, Sarah's an interesting character because the new animation does a lot of work to make her design not kind of childish and silly, but she still has that childish air to her in her approach to the war and everything. Of all of the women most reprehensible that we see on screen, I think we can all agree.
We are ranking every woman in Zeta by reprehensibility.
Oh my God, no. We'll be here all day.
No, this is like Sicario from Jupiter has come, and his magic power is making women love him. and making them do dumb shit because they love him. So she's like, yeah, I'll go blow up Von Braun City on the moon to destroy the Argama. Sure. Will you give me a cute little outfit and a beret to wear? The answer is yes.
Kind of serving egregiously in the huge beret, sports bra, fucking blazer and pearls look. It is kind of crazy.
You cannot. Okay. So I'm sorry, Camille. This is a huge Camille L. He bought her ice cream in front of Fa. Didn't get Fa anything. What the fuck, dog?
And he was out with Fa looking for children and was like, I can take this whole entire side bit where I go on a date with a girl. Which, as we know, when you go on a date with a girl, you should get ice cream and defuse bombs. Everybody knows
You should get ice cream.
Those are the 2 date activities.
Immediately after eating the ice cream together cutely, threaten her. The vibe was so weird.
You haven't gone on dates like this?
No, I actually, maybe I should work on my maneuvers. Maybe I should be climbing in some cockpits. I gotta get with women in a new way. I do need to say, there's another moment where Camille kills a woman in front of Jared. And he's like, stop killing women in front of me. And Camila's kind of like, stop putting women in my way. Which is kind of insane. Like, yeah, anyway, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. It's crazy.
No, that's just true. Jared is feeding women to Camille.
He is. And every time he just goes back to the ship and gets another woman.
My only other thought on this section, besides the end when my beloved Axis appears, is, hey, we can't kiss while wearing helmets.
That was really cute. And I think really well animated.
Amazing.
There's so much cute shit in these movies. I just want to talk about how much I just felt the heart of a lot of these characters in a way I didn't in the original series. Just
also, Jackson, I want to hear your thoughts about this section, but real quick, I just want to shout out my notes because I put an omen in the world I shouldn't have, which is it looks like they've cut Kum and Shinta from this entirely, and then 5 minutes later, I am besieged. Anyway, sorry, please go on.
There's a very funny line here. Lieutenant Sheen, you are the flower of the radish. To me, you are all the flowers of the radish.
Is that Henkin that says that?
Yeah, I think so.
Want to shout out the cutest Bright moment ever caught on camera, which is they're discussing war, and he's in the meeting watching a video recording from his children on Earth with his headphone in.
It's really good. They're all showing each other floppy moving images, and apparently Char brought that for him all the way from Earth. Like, that was incredibly cute. This is also the sequence where they hang Sarah on the wall in the suit, and it's so fucking funny. It's like, we don't have we don't have a brig to put you in. We're just gonna put you in the suit and hang you on the wall like a suit of clothes. It's so fucking funny.
I might be wrong. I think they do have one, but they already put her in there, and she escaped because Cass is an idiot. So
like, new thing.
Yeah.
I just found it interesting how, like, the Sarah stuff is so much more emphasized here from her own agency. You really get a sense of, like, man, it sucks being manipulated by Sirocco. Because the repetition of all the tragedy really focused. Like, you did lose a bit of Camille's protagonist nature in these movies because of how much more the women are foregrounded. But I think it's worth it because it's, like, redressing the fact that he does just meet a bunch of women that suck and die in the original show.
Yeah. We do get a lot more of her here. We did keep the scene of her punching cats off the gantry, which is my favorite Sarah scene. And that was when I first watched that scene last year. I immediately DM'd Alice and I was like, Sarah Zabarov is literally you in Gundam.
Yeah.
It is. It's you.
Unfortunately.
I love it. We have to talk about Amuro gets with Beltor Chica, right? And Char starts making moves on Rakoa.
Yeah.
Look at your girls. Now look at your mortal enemy. Are you seeing anything about their general physical appearance? Anything? Sort of anything?
Holy shit, I didn't even notice this.
Yeah.
It takes the enlightened Fujo mind to approach. No, I'm kidding. No, it was so funny to me because it really, and I mean, again, The movies are condensing. But this weird little romance subplot that sets up like why Rikoa is going to have a Category 5 woman moment for the rest of these movies is like she gets a kiss from Char. He doesn't take off his sunglasses, which is incredibly funny. But it's this creation of this like weird offhand romance with Char that then sets up why she's willing to die for Shirako or whatever, the man who returned from Jupiter. It's so weird, and it's such this, like, again, I appreciate the foregrounding of women and that they get to do a few more things, but it also does make some of the glaring holes in motivation that male characters don't always suffer from more obvious. And like this kind of weird setup thing is, yeah, I don't know. I struggled with it.
I agree. I think Reko's thing is kind of insane in this. I do like
it.
I like it more because they cut the part where she abruptly gasses an entire fucking colony on Shiraka's behalf.
Oh, okay.
They also skip all of her brainwashing. They just go straight into, she's just with him now. Okay.
Yeah, it really suggests that she met a man who was willing to actually offer her affection, and then she decided to become his literal ride or die, which is, I struggled with it. But at the end of this movie, there is a really cool sequence with the mobile suits to talk about them. Are you going to talk about the bazooka?
Oh, no, go. Oh, the Megazooka?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Char gets a gun that would require the entire energy output of Japan to fire. Unfortunately, he's not on Earth. So he has to have somebody else's Gundam, or not Gundam, I just keep saying Gundam, mobile suit, come up behind him. They attach with umbilicals to pool energy. They get 4 shots with this crazy gun. They hit like once, maybe twice. I did write Char, there is an issue with skill, but there is a crazy mechanical, like the mechanical intimacy of connecting with umbilicals to pool the energy between your mobile suits. I did pop at that. I love when mechs get weird with it. It felt good.
I did wish the Methus would have attached like a backpack, if I'm being honest, but like you can't win them all.
Yeah, we gotta wait until we get to what, Darling in the Franxx, before we get like the grip maneuver, the romantic grip maneuver.
No.
So to talk about Gundam, we're in the Universal Century, right? We're doing all the Universal Century movies first so that you can know why like the different timelines matters in Gundam, right? And I think this movie really, like, in the first movie, I think you really don't entirely get the scale of what things are, because you hear 10 billion people, half the Earth population has died, all of this is happening. But in this one, you start to see it a lot, which is like, in the first one, Abawaku was just one of the ending fights, right? But in this, they've renamed it. It's a fortress, and you start to realize that like Luna 2 comes back. Von Braun City on the moon is one of 2 of the moon cities, and those matter that there's 2 of them. And you start to see these things like come into smaller pieces, more manageable pieces than you had before. Like Side 6 is always just going to be a homogeneous entity over here, but you start to see like, when we talk about the Jupiter returnees, we have to just be clear that this is a colony ship. They literally say it's about a city's worth of people on that, and they are a major power that people are trying to court. We see at the ending of this, Axis appears, and Axis is literally just a mineral asteroid from the asteroid belt. Like, and that is a major power that we're gonna have to contend with. The AEUG fleet is literally the Argama and the Radish, 2 of my most beloved ships ever, and like 4 Salamis classes. Like, it's not a disarmament. They never really address it. But then you also get the other part of it, which is we are now seeing that warfare in Gundam is switching from mobile suit battles matter to who has the weapon of mass destruction this time. Nukes reappear. It's a major plot point that Axis has a reserve of 30 nukes. Currently in the world, there are 25,000 known nuclear warheads, so they got them down pretty low, guys. But like they just use one to blow up.
They used them all.
They use one to blow
I was
up.
about to say, maybe we should have a big nuclear war to use up all these motherfuckers. Get them off the table.
God, no, why?
And the Antarctic Treaty that was between Zeon and the Federation restricted the use of nuclear weapons. And yet the Titans are like, we have access to those, we're going to use them. And it's not even really a big deal. But, like, they're about to drop a colony on the moon just to show them. And then they're like, we're going to ram Axis into a Bawaku. Like, you start to see it's a really cool kind of feudalistic space combat over the Earth sphere. Like, there's a certain level of nomadacy that still exists in this frontier. Like,
Okay, yeah, I see where you're getting. Yeah.
Like, you can become lost. You can go and do stuff. Like, people
Space
can
is
still
big.
be lost.
No one talks about this,
People
I feel
are not talking about how space big.
Yeah.
Jackson, what are your thoughts on space big?
It's pretty big.
Interesting. So we're having a little bitch fight in space with our little mechs, and then 5 gajillion Gaza Seas show up, and also an entire asteroid that nobody saw sneaking up on us. Hey, it's Axis. And Haman Karn says, I smelled Char. I know he's here.
The degree to which there is a contrived ignorance of Axis's trajectory is so plot critical. It is hysterical to me.
This brings us into part 3. Love is the pulse of the stars. Okay.
Say with feeling.
Axis,
It is. God.
Are you stupid?
I have a theory about this. We'll get to it. Axis plots to rejoin the Earth sphere, playing the Titans, the Jupiter returnees, and the UGG against each other. People switch sides and turn coat, and lots of people die. The Titans are defeated with the colony laser, and a lot of really great mobile suit fights happen. The Jupiter returnees are defeated as well, with some really cool psychic fights, Camille using the power of dead women to do it. Axis leaves the Earth sphere, and the UGG stands as the winner of a pile of rubble. Depending on if you watch the show or the movies, Camille's ending is either tragic or extremely cute.
I should say now, Jackson, Nico is infamous for quoting, because for some reason she's heard the audio of Camille having his breakdown at the end of the show. And many people are excited for her take on this ending, because she famously said, this sounds like someone suffocating to death in a Honda Civic.
That's not inaccurate.
Yeah.
So just to put that. I also had I just 2 really quick things, because we're about to watch CCA, and I did this to Nico in the first Gundam episode, which is I just have a little corner, which is Char's characterization in CCA is fraught in the fandom. And because these movies are doing something very specific with Zeta Gundam and not necessarily Gundam as a whole, a very, 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 very important Char scene was cut from these movies, which is his speech at Dakar.
Yes.
I will show it to you later. That's all. You just have to watch it, because I feel like
just need that
it is
context.
so
Okay.
pivotal to his character.
Yeah, because I mean, what we
anyway.
get of Char, first of all, Baby Hitler, I know it's you. Minerva's obvious here.
Yeah.
And Char is giving decent uncle vibes. Like, we've gotten a little bit, like, he's not good at it. He kisses with sunglasses on. But, like, there's a funny moment in the first movie where he gives Camille this kind of, like, comforting side hug while Camille is having a crash out that's animated, like, really nicely. And, like, this is where we get a lot of, like, Char is giving decent uncle vibes. We also do get the line, I've never betrayed anyone, which
which is basically a still, and they still redrew it in the 2005 style. I thought that was so funny. It emphasizes
they knew
it
they needed
so much.
to update the meme. They knew.
2 versions of the meme.
I think, guys, I know we got to talk about a lot in this movie, but we have to talk about the Jupiter and Oakland mech designs. I need to talk about them. So the Ashamar, the Boundock, the Gaplant, and then the Messala, the Pallas Athene, the Balanuk Samabalaban, and the O. So
Somebody deployed the O, and my first comment was, of what size is this O? So I had to.
This
not
O
big.
is smaller. It's smaller than big. It is not
It's
big.
not a big O.
But
it's
it's
not
big
tiny.
for a mobile suit, but it's small for an O. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for clearing that up.
I think the ones made at the Oakland lab are just the silliest, funniest designs of what would the advanced human pilot, what these weird ass designs.
I fucking hate the Bound Dock so much. I thought I had escaped the Bound Dock. I thought we weren't going to get a Bound Dock in this. I cannot believe that they shoved it in there at the end. Oh my God.
Nico, the Bound Dock is that pink one. What do you think about him?
I was about to say, the pink one is fucked. This is a bug to me. Which is probably why Brian hates it, because Brian does not like bugs. What's this sauntry little purple bitch?
The Masala?
I love the masala. This thing is crazy. I love putting points on shit. I like it. The other ones I could take or leave, but I do like we're using colors, we're using weird parts, we're using, like... I do think the Ashmar doesn't deserve to be in this company.
If we're talking about the weird ones, can I have my tight 3 on my favorite child of all time?
Which one?
Yes, please.
Yazan's Humbrabi. I love that thing so fucking much. It destroys me every time I see it because I just think it's so cool and nobody likes it but me. R.A.P. Schwartzwald, you would have loved the Humbrabi.
Post-pick.
The record,
Post-Hammurabi.
the Harambe is the one with the two eye, mono eyes. Transforms. Cool ass guy.
Brian.
You don't have to say cool ass guy, Alice. I know you hate him.
Oh, I hate him so much.
Brian. This shit is whack.
I love him.
It's so whack. I mean, it's kind of cool that he looks like a manta ray when he's folded up. But, oh my God, he's got 4 eyes. What the fuck?
He's so evil. I love him. This is villain coded. I just love it.
I do like the gap flea. I actually had a note that I like the gap flea. I don't love the colors because it looks like baby shit, but I do like some of the design.
Come on.
Now's a good time. Do you guys? What's your favorite of the suits in Zeta? We've seen them all now.
Do you have to ask? It's not the Humbrabi. I know I just glazed it.
Yours is the Quebly.
Are we all grabbing it?
Most people's are the Quebly.
Yeah.
Grab
Is yours the Quebly, Jackson?
Yeah, probably.
Mine's upstairs. Mine's the Psycho Gundam, which is unfinished over there. So
Psycho Gundam is also good. I still can't believe that you're so negative on the Bound Dock. Bound Dock's classic suits.
What is it they say? This is the suit for the mobile suit enthusiast. There's a line in the original show where they're like, everyone who likes a mobile suit likes the Bound Dock, or something like that.
I bet it's one of those things where it looks fucking stupid and then you sit in it and you're like, this has so many quality of life features. This is so maneuver. Like, everyone's clowning on you because your car looks... Okay, my family owns a 2014 fucking Nissan Leaf. That's the bug-eyed, rounded, stupid-looking one, right? And we get clowned on so much about this fucking car. The Nissan Leaf, at least at that time, extremely dependable, comfortable car with way more room than you think. I fit a washing machine in that car. So I feel like
you could fit a washing machine in the Bound Dock, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. That has to be the situation.
Christ.
Everyone is clowning on you for how this shit looks, and you're like, it's the best machine ever made.
No, the Qbli is not even just my favorite mobile suit in Gundam. It's my favorite mobile suit of all time. I think that it looks like nothing else ever. The first time I saw it, I like stood up and walked around in circles for like 20 minutes because I just couldn't believe my eyes. It is so fucking cool looking.
And I don't know the timeline on this, but my pull on that was it really reminded me of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. Like the colors, the shape language, like so much of it. And I was just like...
It has acrylics. It stands with its hands on its hips. It is so cunty.
It's really good. Speaking of technology, really small but funny note, there's a shootout sequence that happens with like Char and Cats, I think, and Camille or whatever. Anyway, they're shooting, the shots are animated as laser beams, but there are brass sounds, which I thought was really funny. And I'm like, what's happening here?
Laser
that
bullets.
One's mostly for
Are you
Alice.
stupid?
Laser bullets. Yeah, read a book.
But related to the Quebly, Haman Karn is serving at an egregious level.
We have to talk about her. So Haman Karn is one of 2 women in Gundam that matter. And
are you ever serving so hard that anti-gravity affects you way differently than everyone else in the shot?
So a few things. She's really into Char, which there's a great book about that if you want to read. And she is everybody in this show in charge of a faction thinks they are pulling one over on everybody else in charge of a faction. Haman Karn may be the only one who can say that. Let's talk about the cyanide earring.
Yo, she is ready to escalate the situation at any time. It's crazy. Like, everything she does is so, like, Kycelia feels like she walked so that Haman could float very fast through space.
Absolutely agree with you. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you. I think Haman, her entrance into this, just like in the show, comes with a complete overload of sudden Xeon imagery when we have gotten nothing, which is like super jarring. It makes the fact that Char basically ruins this for fucking everyone for like multiple hours. Like, instead of being silly, I think it like works really well, and it really like is this incredibly tense moment. I love how outraged he is. Like, this whole sequence just goes so hard, and I think that it cemented Haman in my mind because I actually haven't finished Double Zeta yet. She is like the main antagonist of Double Zeta. There are a couple really standout Haman moments for me so far, but I don't think she hits in Double Zeta as hard as she hits here to me. It could be the fucked up fascist crown that she wears, but I don't know.
I think she hits harder in Zeta, but I love her in both. I think it's very interesting because we start to see, again, dealing with that was World War II. We're in the future now. Axis is a mix of young, indoctrinated mobile suit pilots who are amateurs. They've never fought in a war while out in the belt, versus the like Xeon remnant forces that we see throughout UC Gundam, who are grizzled aces. Like, they are vaunted pilots. We see a lot in Unicorn and stuff, but it's you start to see this divide that grows even larger as the new types enter.
We gotta move through some of this pretty quickly. I did just want to drop, we see a secret meeting between the lead, like the Illuminati of the Titans group. New fucked up future chair situation just dropped. It's crazy. What the fuck was that about?
I can't believe we've gotten this far and we haven't said the name Jamatov Hyman yet.
We've got to pop that Hyman.
We didn't have to say it.
No, we do.
Is the thing.
We do, because are you ever Space Dracula and your last name is Hyman? Because what the fuck, dude?
They also visit a crazy, like, irising circular ship called Levian Rose, which I want to know everything about.
We'll see her again. Don't worry.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, shit.
Again, we're down
I got
to...
so excited.
You have some pretty standard places in the UC universe you can lean on.
But I think a big moment in this is Paptimus, like, seducing Rikoa, basically. What we get of it is, like, this uncomfortable hug moment, and then he says... Crazy line. If you think this embrace is false, then you may pierce my heart whenever you wish. I will not resist. Okay, man, what the fuck ever.
I tell women that all
brother.
the time.
It's a crazy energy. And then later there's like a confrontation with Camille where he says, a man who uses women as tools on the battlefield has no principles. And this made me pause the movie and think, because it was like, there is this vibe, right, in the world in like 1985. Women want to be in the workforce. Women want to be in the armed forces. Women want to be seen as equals to men. And there's this idea that, like, oh, well, we'll humor them. They can be there. They can wear uniforms. They can be in the workforce or whatever. But anyone who actually takes this desire seriously is dishonorable for endangering a woman. Like, there's this weird, like, catch-22 that's happening. And I think it's represented in the show in an interesting way in the conflict between Paptimus and then, like, Camille and the crew over there. But, like, it was so interesting for me to think about because, again, this is a show, and in this edit, they're forwarding so many women, but they are deploying them in ways that just, like, if you are a woman or, you know, if you're aware of stuff, like, can be really aggravating. And it feels like, oh, we're humoring that women want to see more women in Gundam. We don't actually know what to do with them or want to do anything with them besides what women have historically always done, which is be a nexus of emotional conflict. Yeah.
The standout that I think really kind of speaks to that is the Emma plot line, which Emma is there from the beginning. She's an ace pilot, pilots very well throughout the series. She's competent. People like her. She exists as a motherly type to Camille, and her plot culminates in her falling in love with a man. And that's the focus of it. And that's the end of her plot, really, is, hey, I don't have that anymore. I'm sad now. I'll die and give you my spirit. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a big conflict is breaking out. There's this big confrontation because, remind me, I think it's because they are piloting the asteroid to strike. What is the Gate of Zidane? Please explain this to me.
About a coup from the first movie.
Okay.
It's about coup, and Titans took it and made it their little, because the Titans have spent Zeta basically saying, this is our new base, and then it gets compromised, and then they go and pick a new place and say, this is our new base where we do evil things, and then they get compromised.
So that's the
I
break.
was just wondering, because I didn't know if it was supposed to be an implication that the Gate of Zidane actually did something. Because in a lot of sci-fi, we see gates used as like a way to move faster than light or whatever. I was not sure what that was about. We didn't see any imagery with that. But anyway, there's a collision course situation happening. Yeah.
We gotta go
Big
do Big
Laser.
Laser.
We got Big Laser again.
Wait, before we get to Big Laser, I just Jackson, did you have anything on like because you had said earlier that you thought Zeta was the most misogynistic Gundam? I just didn't know if you had any commentary on the stuff we were talking
The
about.
Tomino Gundams. There's there's you can watch Seed if you want to see some like true like restraints off
I
misogyny.
believe we're getting to Seed at some point.
We
which I
are
don't.
also fuck Seed. I'll say it every time.
I can't believe you're watching Seed but not Double Zeta. Like
We had 1 year, and Alice already was like, I was not kidding, we are doing a sloppy drive-by.
We can always revisit her.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think this stuff is it's weird because there's a lot of stuff you can't change about Zeta to the point of cut a woman out of the plot, but she still has to be in the PowerPoint presentation of dead women.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the end. And then like Emma still has to be like, I guess I'm dying now. And she's like, of what? And she's like, of +2 to your HP bar.
MP bar, thank you. That was a magical power boost for his last attack.
That's true. She's just like, please equip me on the Psycho Frame. I'm going to die now. And so that stuff is like a little wonky. But I think that it's the thing that is hard to talk about is that so much of this is groundwork for stuff that they pay off in Double Zeta with the plus stuff. That it feels so incomplete just leaving it here, I guess I'll say. It's hard to talk about without getting to the future echoes of cyber new types and different outcomes for different characters in different ways in the same situations, how that's going to go in the future. Because that's like, so like all of this is all set up for how this all comes back around in Double Zeta to me. Because I'm a huge Double Zeta fan. I love Judo, I love Plur, I love all of the characters in that show.
Oh, interesting.
I love
and
Plur.
so
I have an unbuilt figurized standard of Platoon here.
yeah, and so a lot of this final movie is interesting in how much it like avoids that. Like the world state's so different. It's like, I guess Shot's counterattack's not going to happen. I guess nothing's going to happen.
Actually, it's totally fine.
Well, that just means we'll have to have you back when we do cover it in 1.5 years.
A bunch more
yeah, I love Double
fighting
Zeta.
happens in here. A bunch of crazy shit happens. More women die. Haman Karn has a cup with a bendy straw. A bunch of shit happens. Fucking Minerva Zabi says Char is someone we can rely on, which is a funny fucking thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. And we get to psychic confrontations. The women laser beam. We get to the women laser beam. At some point, Haman and Camille are facing off, and they vibe so hard that they enter the yin-yang realm. And they have flashbacks to all of the significant relationships they've ever had in their life, which for Camille is a straight-up slideshow of like 11 dead women. It's a lot of dead women. And one dead guy who's there to counter somebody else's dead woman. Like one of the other dead women, he's specifically just like a cancel
token
out
dead
for that
guy.
dead woman. Yeah.
This is like an evil version of what happens with Amuro and Lala, which I really thought was successfully like illustrated.
Oh, it's beautiful.
there's so much we talked so much in First Gundam about how like absolutely gorgeous it is, its use of color, and how like sometimes things will happen with new type stuff that like looks like nothing else that's drawn like ever in the 50 or in the 47 episodes of that show. We don't get nearly as much of that. Even in the original Zeta show, I like, it almost feels like they wanted to emphasize that less and like get a little bit grittier and more material with like how it was talking about its characters. So this is the first moment we really see like a big like, oh, there's like psychic oceans in space that we can throw at each other and like all this different stuff. I thought it was so good.
Honestly, this is when he cooks. This stuff, the conversations they have in the yin yang realm. A lot
of death happens. Katz dies, obviously. We mentioned the token guy. The entire Radish gets obliterated. Then Emma Sheen is struck during the confrontation. We lose 2 women at the same time. And she is like, it seems to be like she's dying of internal injuries. Camille is able to recover her. He opens his visor and vacuum for 1 second. My note here is, can we get a welfare check on Camille? Which I think is maybe a lot funnier for people who've seen the original ending.
Yes.
Yeah, and Camille goes like fucking Super Saiyan because apparently the Zeta Gundam is a spiritual vampire. It can absorb the energy of like new types or people in space. Y'all, what is up with the Zeta Gundam? Open question.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to know about the Psycho Frame. Like, this is recurring.
I think this is a great time to just dive into the Psycho Frame because we're gonna deal with it.
Yeah, because like it comes out of the Psychom units that like Lala was using, and then the Zeta is just like all that. What if a whole suit was just that, and it could like channel new type energy, and that's just kind of what the Gundam is in Zeta.
Yeah, I did not have most of this context because, like, I remember the Psychomu being mentioned because 4 mentions it briefly. But the cuts here, again, these are the moments where I'm like, I want to watch because I need the background info. It's, like, bothering me that I don't know this stuff.
Yeah. Well, and, like, to also, I just want to say, too, like, there's also a way you can read this where it's like, this is something Emma says that, like it is textual, it is literal in a sense, and it gets more literal, I think, as Gundam goes on. But you can also view it as like that's why mechs represent ideology. You know what I mean? Like she could be saying that just broadly about anything, really. It could have been the Rick Diaz. It was just the fact that it's been here for all these moments, and it's Camille's vehicle for how he like mediates and like interacts with the world right now. However, yes, also it is a machine that can turn all of your dead moms into a big armor thing that lets you,
especially in this confrontation and the one with the Quebly, something to remember is those 2 have versions of the Psychomu system in them. The big O, or the O, has the bio link something, and the Quebly, the Quebly obviously has a Psychomu. Like, it's got funnels. You got funnels, you got Psychomu. Prove me wrong.
Char calls the funnels bits in the subtitles, and I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to just call them bits because I think it's funnier if everyone's like, oh, my funnels, and I'm like, they're bits.
Yeah, the bits are the ones that can float around. Psychomu is more about the like internal thing in the machine.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think I went and looked it up, and technically the thing in the Zeta is the biosensor. The Psycho Frame will be later, but they're all
the big
evolutions of the same idea.
The O is the biosensor too. You'll never guess.
Yeah.
Anaheim sold it to both of them. Interesting.
Nico, I want to make sure that you know that the Big O has those, or the Big O. I want to make sure the dash O has. I just want to make sure you notice that it has those vestigial arms that it specifically uses to pull beam swords out.
It's incredibly fucking.
I just want to make sure you knew that was there.
Freak deployment arms. I'm obsessed with them. I'm also obsessed with the fact that this turns into a John Wick movie as Char and Haman confront each other in an empty theater.
Okay.
We end up with 5 people in the theater shooting guns at each other.
This is like the Zeta scene.
This is the Zeta scene. This is it. This is the scene.
Yeah, like this is to Zeta what like Amuro and Char with the swords are to W79. It's like that level of iconic classic scene.
it went hard. Especially when Haman calls him out on being an actor, which I thought was really interesting.
She calls
Well, he's
it
on the
shit.
stage.
It's literalized, right? But it's
Yeah.
really good.
I think this scene is iconic as fuck. I also think it's extremely silly because this insane contrivance that we have all gotten out of our mobile suits just so that we can all go get back in them to have another fight later. And then also, I laugh out loud every time Shirako just stands up from one of the chairs like he's been there the whole time, just awkwardly crouching so that he can be like, when can I just like absolutely aura farm?
That and Haman just jumping up on the back of the seats to aim better or something.
Yeah.
Look,
I love it. It's so good.
I think if you look through this from the lens of this is the sequel to the original series, and if you had no other Gundam, and this was the second one you were making, you're like, I'm going to make a reference to the thing where Amuro and Char were out of their suits, but also I want to have the big fight after it. And it's done so well. I love this whole conversation. Metaphor as a who's gonna rule space after this. It's very nice.
It's interesting because, like, we actually saw this in Metal Gear Solid 2, right? Where it's like, you've made a first entry that becomes iconic, and then you need to make a second one, and you end up covering a lot of the same ground or touching on a lot of the same scenes because you've thought of dimensions since then that you want to add, or you have new characters you want to put in the same situations. I think that is really interesting when you see a sophomore, like, creation have so much retread, but also I don't say that in a negative way. Like, it is interesting the way that these things are being revisited.
I was gonna say, I also, like, I literally had the thought too. This is the Metal Gear Solid 2 of the Universal Century, also because it knows it's a sequel and because it, to lesser or greater effect, wants to be more interested in systems than its predecessor was.
Speaking of systems, the colony laser gets fired, and we get a really interesting animation sequence of Emma's body where Camilla's had to leave it, being electrified by the firing of the colony laser and like lifting into the air. I thought that was beautiful animation, really interesting, especially contrasted against the last thing we saw of 4 was her in midair as her body fell into the ocean. Like, first of all, stop killing women. But second of all, like, that was such an interesting symmetry. It really made me think about stuff.
Nico does this to me all the time where she disrespects my compelling narrative point, where I can just say the only thing I could think of during that sequence was Mirai bouncing around the elevator and crying from First Gundam.
Speaking of people who should be dead and bouncing around shit, Char is in that confrontation with Haman. They get back in their suits and Char blows his whole shit up. But I don't think he's gone. You can't keep a crazy-ass white boy down. You just can't.
Also, you saw next on the recording list is Char's counterattack. So
I think he's gonna be okay.
kind of ruined that spoiler there.
No, I think he died here.
I think this ending is great. I think I love the death of the worst man from Jupiter and also all of the Jupiter returnees. We just wiped them off the map. That's pretty cool.
Bye.
Love that we still get untouched squished Shirako. That is one of the drawings of Zeta to me, is squished Shirako.
Something we don't talk about is the new type connection that runs throughout the characters in the movie. So Kat's dying and the psychic scream that goes out that everyone kind of feels is it's fun in a like, hey, we're exploring this, but damn, Kat's got done dirty. That's all I want to say.
This is where I have to present. You may see on the outline, I have made only one note. It says, discuss Nut Gig. It's time to discuss Nut Gig.
Wait, what's Nut Gig?
Nut Gig is not another mobile suit, though the name, Nut Gig stands for Nico's Unified Theory of Ghosts in Gundam. It is comprised of a number of principles. Let's get into it.
We're going to be talking about Nut Gig until December. Okay.
Yes. Welcome to Nut Gig.
I'm lighting my tobacco pipe. I'm listening.
In the Gundam universe, ghosts are real. That's just a fact. 2.
Okay.
Due to humanity's previous restriction to the Earth is chock full of ghosts. This thus increases the Earth's mass both in material and ethereal matter, exacerbating its gravity. as the second corollary to that, it makes it very hard to be psychic because the ghosts are constantly yammering so as to create the static that Camille refers to at one point when he's trying to use his new type connection. 3. Space noids feel lighter because the ghost density of most sides is very low. For example, Colony 30 made a really good colony to drop because the gassing created an unprecedented space ghost density. 4. New types are possible with space travel because fewer ghosts means clearer psychic channels. New types were possible on Earth, but their effectiveness was negligible because of the ghost density. 5. Ghosts not caught in a gravity well disperse evenly through space. Lala is on her way to Alpha Centauri. Space battles highly exacerbate your chances of seeing recently created ghosts, especially if you're a new type because they are in your proximity. 6. Because ghosts are real and exert proximity-based effects, the Zeta Gundam in close proximity can use them as fuel, and depending on birth rates, this means ghosts are a renewable fuel source. This is Nutgig.
Jackson, what are your thoughts on this theory?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Perfect. Okay, this is a perfect time for me to ask, what the fuck are Minovsky particles? Apparently, if Nutgig is not true.
There's this guy called
Minovsky?
Professor Minovsky. He made Minovsky particles. It's why we don't have nukes and Gundams. They just have nuke-like engines. Also, you can scatter them. It's science.
Okay.
Minovsky particles specifically are why there are giant. It exists to justify why you would have giant mobile suits and not like a big gun. It breaks radar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Radar doesn't work. You can't have like radio communications. You have to do. That's why they're always doing the contact.
I was interested in that because it seemed to me that Minovsky particles were only really mentioned in the new animation segments. So I was like, when did this?
No, they've been
appear?
around, and if you notice, like they're very loose with this because rule of cool. And to be clear, I'm not saying that critically. Depending on whether or not the plot needs it, often you'll see that mobile suits have to like hold hands or touch each other in order to communicate.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I remember that. Anyway,
this is like technically one of the most important building blocks of like Gundam lore, but they're a little wishy-washy with it early on.
Yeah. They don't really nail it down,
and they don't really
later.
explain it super well. It's kind of like. They just kind of expect that everyone's apparently paying attention to other stuff in Japan in the 70s, so they know about Minovsky particle, but they don't really explain it in the shows very well. But it is a basic Gundam concept. One thing I do think that is interesting about fucking ghost density theory.
Nutgig. Excuse me, it's Nutgig.
Okay, yeah. Is that this is like something that is echoed in a lot of future like Tomino Gundam decisions, or the concept of new type becomes very, very like loaded as the series goes on, and the metaphor changes multiple times, and the fact that it has a bunch of weird like your soul being tied down to gravity, it's not actually that being in space makes you better than being born on Earth. That's got nothing to do with it. But the ways in which that manifests mean that like some factions believe that's true. Like the Titans kind of believe it.
Right.
They believe that their being born on Earth gives them this like superior eugenics nature. But that means that like talking about new types is a difficult the Gundam Wiki famously is a completely useless resource. It'll be like, this person's a new type, this person's an old type. And that's not even like new. You can't really be a new type. You can. There are new types you can be labeled one. Yeah, but like new type is like a language that is invented by the Federation and Zeon to kind of define a thing that is not that definable, that is just a general metaphorical point about like human potential to communicate and connect with each other. Which means that like the thing, your whole like the Nutgig thing isn't real. None of that's real, but it does echo the way. It does echo the ways in which like. When the Federation and Zeon like pile on a bunch of definitions onto new type and to like cyber new type, it ossifies them and basically makes the concept useless, because then a new type stops being this metaphor for human potential and becomes someone who can pilot in space really well, right? Like, those are two different things. One is the outcome of the other. The thing Tomino wants you to get towards is the broad thing. And it keeps being, like, utilized by the various factions as the, like, okay, well, what can we do? Well, what is a new type? Well, a new type is someone who can shoot a gun really well, I guess. Like, and how they can be used in war. Anyway, that was my
I think it's interesting, but I mean, that implies to me, I mean, with no reference for it, that implies to me that, like, there is an interesting, like, 60s, 70s spiritualism to new types. Like, as we see Lala, like, there is an interesting kind of new wave kind of vibe to the way new types are presented. And then that part kind of falls out. That's interesting to me too. But mostly, thank you for validating that I would be one of the deranged scientists working for one of these factions who just I believe something insane. And, like, I'm making the presentation, everyone in charge is nodding. They're like, nut gig is true. And you're
This
like,
is the
no,
basis
nut gig
for
is
our
wrong.
for our really fucked up mobile suit that destroys a woman. This is the meeting that
I'm in a one-off episode where we're gassing colonies to power one suit, and everyone's like, that's not how it works. And I'm like, but nut gig. And everyone's like, you're insane. Anyway, that's validating for me. No, I just wanted to say something insane. Talk to me about the endings, because the ending that I saw was quite cute.
It's Yuri.
There's an echo here of an earlier scene where Fa finds Camille again after being on a space shuttle and grabs him, and they float around hugging and everything. And at the end of this, like, Fa and Camille are able to find each other, and they do kind of the same thing. And that's kind of what we end on. What's this I hear about my boy being, like, a vegetable?
So, I like this. It's cute. It's like, you know, obviously it breaks the canon a little bit, which that doesn't really matter to me, but I think it's cute. It's hey, are we all proud of me? I got this far before saying Eureka 7. It's very Eureka 7 coded to get out of your mechs and, like,
Wow.
float around together and hug. But yeah, I just don't really know what to do with it, you know?
Jackson, what happens at the end of the original 50 episode Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta to
You're gonna
Camille
make our
Biden?
guests do this?
Camille Biden? Sorry, Camille Biden?
Well, I'll leave. Bye.
America.
Yeah. In the original, like, basically Sirocco backfeeds the biosensor on Camille, so, like, his brain gets run through it as well, and he just, like, comes out the other side fully scrambled. Just, like, not really functional. Not quite catatonic, but definitely, like, broken in a metaphysical way beyond just, like, even beyond how, like, 4 is, right? Like, because 4 is like, oh, I'm fucked up and mentally ill from all my time being like, experimented on. But, like, Camille's just, like, out there. He's gone. He's just like, I can see the stars. And is like, that's just kind of where he's at the end of Zeta. It's a very bleak ending. It's weird. It's specifically weird because, like, that ties in with Shah leaving, right? Of, like, Shah, his suit explodes and his like helmet's around, but you don't really know where he is. But his failure to, like, turn Camille into anything other than a big psychic gun who has his entire sense of self stolen from him is, like, the thematic thrust of the ending. In this, it does just mean that Shah just fucks off for no reason.
Yeah.
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 Like, there's no thematic underpinning to why he would just not just go straight back to the ship.
Tugging his collar going, this is too much responsibility. I gotta get out of here.
There is a very affecting scene at the beginning of Double Zeta where the protagonist Judah walks in on Camille in his hospital room, and like, it gives me chills thinking about it. And it's strange to me that this, I think it's a little bit just like early aughts optimism coded in a way that looking back right now, I find a little bit cringe. And I also think it's like, it takes away from the gravity of that scene a little bit. Obviously, like, treating the canon holistically is a mistake, but that's just kind of like the vibe I get. Yes, Alice.
Here's my grand unifying theory for this.
Okay.
It's
The
end of
Alex
Evangelion.
gig.
So in reality, becomes broken. We get double Zeta. We get Char's counterattack. But at that same moment, we get that Camille has that just brain going to a whole different place. And, like, that's the good ending. That's what Camille had. And we can just see it, that way. And then we get the fucked up real version in the show. That's my read on it.
You're presenting Watsonian and Doyleist explanations of the ending that in a way that they can coexist, which I think is quite bold of you.
Yeah.
You're like,
powerful.
hey, this could also be true.
Weirder things
Alice,
have happened.
I'm sitting here on my big ass chair and you're leaning over to whisper in my ear and you're telling me that we've made it through the discussion of the films and there's only one thing left for us to do. So I raise my voice
Char.
imperiously.
Oh.
Yeah, no. We can do that. I raise my voice imperiously in a way that does not match my age, and I announce, Alice, what do we gotta do?
We gotta rate these goddamn mechs.
We gotta rate these goddamn mechs. There are so many. We've put a link in the document because that page, the Gundam Wiki, not good for much except putting a bunch of images in a sort of grid. So we can see a lot of things at the same time. And and they're kind of divided by their sides, so to speak. But this is going to be a funny mix-up.
Hey, I know the RGC-83 GM Cannon 2 was only on screen for 2 seconds launching off of a Salamis-class cruiser. Why is it on this list? And also, that's not the one from the movie. That's the one from 0083. And to answer
Everyone's
that,
saying this.
Yeah, I'm saying
Gundam.wiki
this.
sucks.
People will be asking me, why are you going to factor the MS-06V Zaku tank into your score? It was only on screen for like half a second in a hangar. And
They
to
were
them, I will say,
glorious half seconds, though. Did you look at that thing?
Oh, I
God
paused.
damn it.
I paused and I clapped for the Zaku tank.
we gotta rate these goddamn mechs. Now, Jackson, we are scientific here. We have a rigorous sort of rubric that we apply. The central question that we ask, and then determine the answer to on a scale of 1 to 10 is, how cool are the mechs in the whole thing? So, typically what we do is the host will answer last. We are in a funny situation where Alice wanted us to cover this, but I bogarted the hosting. So, Brian, you get to rate it first.
Damn, okay.
Usurped.
I literally said this last Gundam episode that I didn't want to give First Gundam a 10 because this show had my favorite mobile suit of all time, so this one's a 10. Okay. And I feel like that's basically all I need to say. I don't like the bound dock, but like otherwise there's generally not even a mechanical design in general like I dislike in this entire show. They all fucking go crazy.
All right. I will throw to you, Jackson. You can be as simple as that. You can go more in depth. You don't have to rate individual elements, just overall vibe check only. Rating the mechs in these movies, 1 out of 10. How you feeling?
I guess I'd say 7 out of 10. Like, I'm not anti the Mechs and Zeta. They're not really my favorite Gundam era. I like 079 more, and then I like the late UC stuff more as well. But I think all the Mechs are good. Like, they're also all pretty good. You get some real heavy hitters with the Krebly and the Bound Dock and other classics. I like the Zeta, I like the O, I like the Palace Athene. So I'm not in any way like down on the Zeta thing. There's just other Gundams I prefer more. Like nothing here is anywhere close to turn A. And I like how weird Victory gets. So yeah,
that's a great score. That's fair. Alice, how are you feeling? Where are you at?
This one's gonna be a 9 for me. Very simply, like. For me, what stands out in a mecha is the everyman. And this does good at the scale of what it is. Like, you get some highlighting of, like, individual Nemos, individual Rick Diaz's, and Apolly. We didn't talk about Apolly, but Apolly is just a guy who works on the Argama. Not a new type, not part of any of the drama. He wakes up, he brushes his teeth, he combs his hair, he maybe makes a joke, and he pilots a Rick Diaz. And the Rick Diaz is like the first suit we see in the series. Char's piloting it, and he runs the Vanguard team after that. And he's there the whole series. And You know the moment in original Gundam when Layla dies and we get the multiple cut of the people reacting? Apolly gets that in this series. And I think that's why I think the mechs are so good, because they do some crazy stuff. The meth is just like a crazy design compared to some things. They went weird with the names. They're doing the two things I love in Gundam. Updating existing designs with the silliest little additions you could ever do. What is the Nemo? Why did we redo the RGM? It was perfect. And then you just have insane designs like whatever the Zeta Gundam and its G Defender knockoff is doing. Like, you can have it all. So yeah, 9 out of 10. What about you, Nico?
Well, so this was an interesting one for me. I'm not kidding. I really appreciated that they got weird with it in this one. There are some absolute slays. There are some absolute fucking flops. There's some. I'm
Name
not
one.
saying anything about the
Name
bound bot.
one.
Name one flop.
Name one
Name
flop
one
out
flop.
of this series.
For $1, name one flop. They're experimenting with colors. They're experimenting with shapes. They're experimenting with animalistic elements. We have two different versions of a revision of the gun tank, one of which is literally just like a Zaku stapled to a gun tank, which I ain't gonna be mad about that. And then the other one, which is the RMV1 gun tank 2, which is like the military mecha nerds version of the gun tank, where it's taking itself quite seriously. There's a ton of design flexibility and design experimentation in this, and I know it's in the service of making toys, and I know that the transforming thing was also in the service of making interesting toys, but the Ashimar is in this, and now I'm aware the Petite Mobile is in this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this is an 8 for me. I'm feeling
Hell
quite
yeah, let's
positive
go.
on this one. Well, with that business taken care of, we are going to head to the break, and afterwards, we will be subjected to Alice's twisted mind in a game, and my normal mind with a letter.
Hey guys, Alice here. Thanks for listening to On the Shoulders of Giants. We're really happy you're here, but if you know anybody who might be interested, we'd love if you share our work with them. If you are enjoying what we're doing, maybe send us a message, or what would really help us out is if you leave a review online. Really, a lot of the algorithms will push people down if they don't have reviews, so it really helps if you just go and write something on the internet. Heck, we might even read one on the podcast if it's really nice and makes our hearts go doki doki. So if you could do that, maybe do it, and thanks again for listening. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back from the break. Alice, what unique torture are you subjecting us and our distinguished guests to today?
This game is called I've Never Betrayed Anyone in My Life. Some people, however, have betrayed others, and we're going to talk about them. We've all heard of Brutus, but let's explore some lesser-known betrayals.
Oh, God.
Because as Zeta Gundam has taught us, sometimes it's the small betrayals that add up to lead you to bigger, more cool betrayal down the road. So this is a standard... This is a standard game in which I will ask you a question, and you'll have an option of answering 3. I feel like this is between you, Jackson, and Brian. Nico, I think you have to sit this one out.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to say we could do the multiple choice where we write it and hold it up, but...
Question 1. Basil I was the founder of the Macedonian dynasty of the Byzantine Empire. From a humble origin, he befriended the Emperor Michael III, marrying one of his mistresses and eventually killing Michael to usurp the throne. Basil I came up with what name to slander the ex-emperor? Brian, was it number 1, Michael the Fool, number 2, Michael the Corrupt, or number 3, Michael the Drunkard?
Oh, Michael the Drunkard's a really cool name, but it was probably Michael the Fool. I'm going to guess Michael the Fool.
That is incorrect. Jackson, you have a chance to steal. Was it Michael the Corrupt or Michael the Drunkard?
Michael the Drunkard, probably.
That is correct. You get a point.
Oh, damn.
You got to trust your instincts.
Yeah.
Alice, I'll be the scorekeeper, so I
Thank
have
you.
a job.
Basil I, notably a gigolo.
Hello?
Wait, what?
Yep.
Is that historically verified? Do we have citations on that?
I'll put them in the show notes. Jackson, question 2. Holy shit, did the feudal lords of Japan love betraying each other. Historians call Japan the only true feudal system ever seen in history because they are all based on a stack of lords wielding taxes and armies. But I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Shadows, so we're going to talk specifically about Oda Nobunaga's conquest.
God.
I've been reading I've been reading a book about this. Like,
Ryan, it's over for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excied to see if you can know this one. I thought I made it. I tried to make these.
I'm early in the book, though.
Okay.
So like, I'm not that far.
I am.
So I'm not actually at the later betrayals.
Yeah. There's a couple of them that come up.
There's a couple of them.
Spoiler.
Yeah, there's a couple famous ones.
During the Battle of Nagashino, when the allied forces of Oda attacked the Takada clan, it wasn't just the 3,000 guns that won the battle. Takeda had his own defectors who turned on him, including Yoshimasa Katsuyori. Why did he betray the Takada clan? Number 1, he was asked to marry off his daughter for political gain of the Takeda clan. Number 2, the polities of the Takeda clan directed the use of slave labor, which he was against. Or number 3, Oda offered him riches to turn against Oda's longtime enemy, the Takada clan.
I'm gonna say married daughter.
That is incorrect.
Oh, damn.
Okay, yeah.
Brian, you have a chance to steal. Was it the use of slave labor, or was it here's a lots of money?
I think it was money.
That is incorrect. He actually turned
it was
against
principled? That's the twist.
Shout out to an abolitionist.
To be very clear, it was an expansion of forced labor.
He was like, yo, we gotta keep this. Come on,
There
we
was
gotta keep
always
this
a little
reasonable.
slavery in feudal Japan. Brian, back to you.
Okay.
Henry II of England was good friends with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Becket. But they were off and on again for most of their time together, switching between good friends talking about God to bitter enemies, including Thomas being exiled only to return with the intervention directly of the Pope. So naturally, after Thomas expelled some political opponents from the church, Henry ordered him killed. How was he killed? Number 1, chopped to death by knights in the middle of the cathedral. Number 2, a public beheading in front of the cathedral, mandatory attendance. Or number 3, drawn and quartered in the cathedral's yard.
I just want to preface this by saying I graduated magna cum laude at university, but I very deliberately avoided Europe in my formal education.
Yeah, you did
so this is a really humiliating.
studies.
Yeah, I did the just deliberately. Yeah, and so this is a humiliating thing to ask me in front of a British person. But I'm gonna say number 2.
Incorrect. It was not number 2. Jackson, you have a chance to steal. Was it chopped to death by knights in the cathedral or drawn and quartered in the cathedral's yard?
Well, the fucked up thing about this is that all I know is that he was definitely killed in the cathedral. But unfortunately, all of the fucking answers include that detail. I don't know who did it. I wasn't there. I'm not that old. I'm gonna say the first one then.
That is correct. He was chopped to death by 4 knights in the middle of the cathedral during the day. I made them all in cathedral because when people talk about this, it's just he was killed in the cathedral, and I was like, okay.
That's the one thing I knew. I was like, God damn it. That's the only fact I knew.
Oh yeah, I British proofed this. Take that. Jackson, back to you.
Oh.
The 7 Years' War was a precursor to the ideological divides that would begin to shape an industrialist Europe, and that wouldn't be complete without a dozen countries participating. When Prussophile Peter III ascended the throne in Russia, he immediately took Russia out of the war, signing a peace treaty with the aggressive Prussia. This would be only the loudest of the moves of his controversial reign that lasted an astounding 186 days. After being ousted in a palace coup d'etat orchestrated by his very own wife, he died soon after in classic Russian mysterious circumstances. What was the official cause of death as proposed by Catherine the Great's new government? Number 1, he died of herpes. Number 2, he died of hemorrhoids. Or number 3, he died of consumption.
All classic things to die of.
He died of hemorrhoids.
That is correct. She claimed that her husband had died of hemorrhoids after ousting him to take the throne of Russia.
I was like, consumption's too much of like an actual disease. She needs something that's like kind of invisible, but like herpes is too ridiculous. It's not going to be like that. So I kind of logicked that one out. I didn't know. That was the logic I used.
You're like, it has to be insulting enough, but like believable enough.
Poor guy died standing up.
Damn. All right. We come to our last question. This one is for both of you. You're going to type your answers in the chat, and we'll hit enter at the same time. In the Kingdom of Congo, on Africa's west coast, the blank were the colonizers. The Congolese people embraced trade and Catholicism and gave land for the blank country to set up a colony on the west coast of Africa. While the colonizers used local marauders to capture slaves, the Kingdom of Congo inadvertently became a safe haven for those escaping slavery, causing the colonizers to attack and kill the King of the Congo to get their slaves back. What was the colonizing country that did this to the Kingdom of Congo?
Oh my god, this is Brian, like, redemption arc, hopefully. Brian post-colonial studies redemption arc.
I didn't study West Africa, but...
All right, tell me when you both have your answers typed up, and then I'll count.
Wait, I gotta type this one?
Type it in the chat, and then I'll tell you to
yeah,
press
right.
enter at the same time.
Okay.
Nico just put so much pressure on me that I didn't feel before. Okay. I'm ready.
You're just pulled down by the gravity of somebody who can't give up Earth.
All right,
Okay, we're
ready?
going.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh,
Both
it's a double
answered
France.
Guys, you both got it incorrect. It was Portugal.
The
Oh,
sneaky
I
Portuguese.
didn't know about French Congo. I was like, it just seemed like a logical answer.
So there's the Kingdom of
But that
Congo
also sounds
with
like
a
something.
K, and then there's the Congo with a C. I threw you off by talking about the other one.
Yeah. All right. That makes
But my
sense.
trademark not reading the question with the details you need.
Haha.
Alice, do you want to check in on the score?
Yeah.
Well, there's also one other question
Oh, no.
worth another point. It's called a bonus question.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Bonus. What colony did they start that still exists to this day? So your hints
It's
are
not
it's
a
a,
multiple
colony that-
choice.
a Portuguese colony on
Portuguese
the west
start?
on the west coast of Africa.
Oh.
This country is the country with the second most Portuguese-speaking people outside of Portugal itself. Number 2 only to Brazil.
I feel like I should know this.
West coast of Africa, Portugal. Yeah, I don't know. I'll know it the second you post it, but I'm struggling to.
The answer.
Brian, do you have any?
Brian, do you have one?
I don't want to say what I have. I'm terrified
Okay.
of being wrong. Just tell me what the answer is.
Angola.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Angola
Yeah, I
remains
was
a
not
close friend to Portugal and was built with slave labor.
Yikes.
I know that Angola's on the west coast of Africa. I just don't know much about Portugal. I mean, the only thing I know about Portugal and slave labor is I was reading the thing about like Japanese history, and the Portuguese came over to Japan, and then they kept taking slaves out of Japan. And the Japanese got really annoyed at this, but the whole time they were doing this, the Japan was doing this to Korea as well. So there was just like a fucking train of like, oh, you can't be taking slaves out of us, and then they're like, but you're taking slaves from Korea. Everyone's fucking doing it, mate.
It's so fun. Well, Nico, how'd we do?
It was a close game. It's a close game. It's really tough. This one, but neck and neck. Brian came in a strong second with 0 points. And Jackson has walked away triumphant with 3 points. But all the competitors today, good clean match.
ratio, though.
That was great. I mean, we killed all of Camille's parents. And that's
This is
what
on
matters.
brand. I never win these.
Okay.
It's
Brian,
never
you've
happened.
won like 2 in a row. Jackson, thank you so much for coming on OSG. It has genuinely
Yeah, of
been
course.
a lot of fun. I hope you've had fun with our kind of derangement and our real sloppy drive-by on Gundam.
I've had a lot of fun. It's been fun remembering Zeta. I'm sorry I've been a bit of a chaotic situation at home, and I'm glad I could pop by to remember Camille.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone needs to be remembering Camille. Just
For thinking about Camille. Yeah, thank you so much. Really happy to have talked to you and just had somebody here who has really gotten into Gundam. And I hope we can talk to you again in the future. Maybe
of
even
course,
non-Gundam stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for coming.
do you have
it's so
anything
fucked up
going?
that some of you don't know about Shri Climb.
Jackson, I know Abnormal Mapping has a ton going on. You've got your flagship podcast, your gaming podcast. You've got the Great Gundam Project, which is of concern to our listeners. Is there anything else, going on? Anything exciting with those podcasts or other podcasts you'd like to plug before you head out?
I guess not really particularly. It's a bit of a chaotic time. We're doing G-Reco right now in GGP, which is the final Tomino Gundam show. Having a fantastic time with that. So it's a good time to jump in over there at patreon.com/abnormalmapping. GGP is only $1 a month, and there's like 400 episodes. Crazy. We've watched way too much Gundam. I don't know what I'm talking about until at least episode 200. So sorry.
Well, and y'all were very kind to for listeners. Like, if you're like, oh, I don't know, blah, 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 which is wild to me because it's literally $1. But y'all did release your season on the original Mobile Suit Gundam for free. That is findable on podcast apps, so people can give you a try. Yeah, actually, that's kind of how I got, I was dipping my toe in because I've listened to Abnormal Mapping, but I hadn't listened to the Great Gundam Project, so I was listening to some of that. It's really good stuff, even though y'all are clueless. It's quite fun. And so it's a good way to get a taste for it before you start, putting out the princely sum of $1 for, like, infinite mech content. Like, go to the Patreon, check it out.
You can stand to skip the seed season. We don't have a good time.
That's my favorite part, honestly. I think it's GGP worth the $1 if you watch any Gundam series and you're like, I need to talk to somebody about what I just went through. That's go over there. It's worth it. It got me through seed recovery.
I'm glad we could contribute with that. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of all. Thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to come through.
Thank you, Jackson.
Unfortunately, due to my machinations, we did put Jackson in a glass tube suspended in space.
Damn it, I knew you were going to do this.
And we kind of thought, nobody's going to be stupid enough to shoot at that. Like, we've got a good bargaining position, but we've got some bad news for him and a number of other hosts. In the meantime, let's check out this letter. Brian, do you want to read our letter? It's in the notes.
Okay, got it. Dear OSG, I'm a mobile suit designer working on contract from my undisclosed company's offices on the moon. Lately, our executive team has been all in on transforming mobile suits. It's all they talk about at meetings. If your design concept doesn't have a transforming aspect, they won't give it the time of day. My position is that transformation into an aerial vehicle only makes sense on Earth, and most mobile suit use is in space. There's no need for aerodynamics in space. I'm much more interested in incorporating unconventional features like bird feet or lasers that can pop out of a unit and fly around. But I haven't gotten much luck getting designs approved, and I worry I'm putting my job at stake by going against the flow. Should I stand my ground on making mobile suits weirder or fall in line with the transforming mobile suit paradigm? All the best, very blue in Von Braun.
That's pretty good.
This letter is so funny considering I don't know anything about Anaheim Electronics.
No, you just did it.
But
Congrats.
you did it.
Out.
You fucking owned them so hard, actually. I love the Mythos, and I actually didn't say this during the discussion, but I actually like the Zeta Gundam, pretty okay. I like it way more than the original Gundam. It is probably my most liked Gundam design right now. I don't like it that much, though.
I don't love that it's a psychic vampire.
The fact that you just took the Methus, they don't. This is stupid. Except for the Humbrabi, I'll defend him with my life.
All right, so for VB and VB, we're thinking this is the format, right? For 2026 or Universal Century 00 whatever the fuck. Out transformation in weird shit, or are we feeling out weird shit in transformation?
Transformation into weird shit. Here's the thing. We are transforming Look at the Gaza Sea with its little fucking bird claws it transforms to when it's a flying thing.
Yes.
That's cool. I don't want you to just look like a sleek little ship. I want to see hey, third transformation. Why can't you also become 4 legs or some shit? Like, do other things. Like, I want one that like transforms from a circle to a non-Euclidean shape.
This is the most my language Alice has ever spoken in her life. I'm literally gobsmacked right now. This is also my answer word for word. So
it's wild she read that from your mind using new type abilities.
Yeah.
And what if it had like...
Wait, what is it? What is it Hamon says? How dare you reach my inner mind palace or whatever the fuck she says to Camille.
How dare you look at my weird photo of me and Char posing.
Nico, we got to talk about that after this off the air. That's all I'm going to say. We've got to talk about a lot of stuff. You'll need to sit down. I do want to say, out with this.
Sitting?
Snatched waists. Get rid of them. Too many snatched waists on your mechs. Look, the O, we like a thick girl, okay? That's all I'm saying, okay?
I love the O. Fuck.
I'm wearing a shirt when I see the O, and it says, "Dear fat girls, get on top. If he dies, he dies." Right before we squash fucking Pappy.
Stop calling him Pappy!
You know what? I agree with y'all. You know what? This is the option. This is the innovation you got to bring to the company. You'll be running this shit in like 3 days. One, because like everyone will be dead. I would really advise you, depending on when you receive this response, to get out of Von Braun. But, yeah. Step 1, normal ass looking shit. Step 2, transform. Gotta accept it. Into some weird looking shit. Step 3, transform again to really weird looking shit.
Step 4, time travel back to the previous day 400 times and fall in love and die. Oh, wait.
Thanks for writing.
Thanks for writing in, VB. Hope things look up for you. I know it's hard out there for people working in tech who don't buy into the latest thing, and you're having to try to push common sense stuff like bird feet, and it's just like not getting through. Like, I know that's tough right now, so hang in there, stay strong. All right, y'all, this has been our episode of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we discussed Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, a new translation. Any parting thoughts from our hosts who haven't been left in the vacuum of space?
Char is a guy you can trust. I think we just need to remember that.
Anyway, we are
Brian,
about to do something extremely wicked.
We're about to overdose on Tomino, I think.
Yeah.
I just want to say that if I had married Mirai and piloted the Ashimar, they would both be fine. Thanks for listening.
I can fix her points to every woman in Zeta Gundam.
Points to every woman in every Gundam and several of the mobile suits.
I can save them from Tomino. Come with me, 4. I can save you.
Raised from Tomino perdition.
Thanks for listening, pilots. Remember, you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can also catch up with us on social media. The links are in our description for updates and more. You'll also find a link there to the show Discord. Come hang out. Make sure to check back in 2 weeks when we will be discussing probably... You know, Camille pioneered a new maneuver for flirting. I think, this is my guess, knowing nothing about this film, I think we're about to see Char's new maneuver for flirting and Char's counterattack. Until then, goodbye. I love you.
Goodbye. I'd never betray you.
Goodbye, I love you. We're about to see Char's new take on flirting and Char's new take on parenting, and they're both equally fucking cursed. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.